Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Touching Tips, a podcast dedicated to the world of PSVR2. My name is Karen Alive and Well, and I'll be introducing your hosts. From the west of Ireland, he is a visionary, a leader, a sensual and generous lover, as I can attest. Petrifying Pumpkins. Pumpkins was once a successful businessman before a tragic incident left him with stage 2 ligma of the mind. No longer able to run his multinational POG corporation, Pumpkins turned to his other passion, PSVR. Hence this channel and later podcast were born. Pumpkins is famous all over the world thanks to the various Easter eggs dedicated to him in PSVR exclusive Firewall 0 Hour. Most famously, if you go to the hangar map in the air control tower, you will see radar screens with various aircraft designations that, when combined, spell out petrifying pumpkins. It really does make him better than you. From Mexico, he has many names: El Chupacabra, El Fuego, El Pasión. But around here we call him Mr. 777 or Jackpot. Mr. 777 moved to the United States as a wee lad. A former Xbox fan, Jackpot gave up on Team Green when he discovered the future is virtual reality, and has been on PlayStation since. Jackpot lives with his mother in her basement. She reached out to Pumpkins, begging him to let Jackpot be a co-host as she worries about his lack of social communication skills, as you will soon see for yourselves. He turned to marijuana at a young age and has reached a stage where if he were to ever stop smoking, the shock to his system would kill him immediately. Jackpot has a heavily stained pillow that he calls Amanda. He believes that she is real and that he is in a long-term relationship with her. His catchphrase is, "Bitch." And finally, all the way from the frigid wastes of Canada, comes Muzz. Muzz has a passion for maple syrup and discussing PSVR2. He once got lost in the frozen tundra of northern Canada with his best friend. The ordeal was harrowing and led to Muzz eating the remains of his friend in order to survive. Shortly after, Muzz turned to VR gaming as a way to escape the horrors of the reality he leaves every time he puts on the headset. It's worth noting that while Muzz maintains his best friend was dead before he began to consume him, later studies of the remains hinted at the possibility that the friend died from infections that were caused from bites, though due to a handling error, the evidence was deemed inadmissible and Muzz walked free. He also has a cat. Without further ado, let the show begin. I've been Karen Alive and Well, and I will now hand you over to the strong, sexy hands of Pumpkins. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and all that usual YouTube shite.
What the fuck is this?
Alright, wrong scene. Sorry about that.
What the fuck is this?
And because I went to the wrong scene, it's fucked my camera. Hold on a sec. Let me try and fix that real quick. With the deactivates and reactivates, and there we go. And we're back. Test, 1, 2, 3. How's the mic? How's everyone sounding? Jackpot.
Hello.
Muzz, or not Muzz, sorry. Yeah, Jackpot and Muzz, what am I saying? I was like, who are these people? What are these people called again? Yeah, so it seems like your voices should be coming through, hopefully. Brandon is in the chat, LSB's in the chat, Fozzie, Donnie, Actual, VR Namek. I had a feeling VR Namek would show his face. Anytime there's bad news, this guy shows up. It's free real estate, says things aren't looking good for a little head, says Actual, War Room, and Donnie and Fozzie both saying the test is good. Okay. So, Muzz, Jackpot, how you been? How you doing?
Always tired.
Always tired. Poor Muzz. Need to give Muzz a break. Let him sleep. Might do like next week. I'll do an hour later. Okay, you can have a little nap, and that suits you better. That'd be worse. I don't know. Maybe it'd be worse. But yeah, what's been going on since I've talked to you last? What have you been up to?
Been a lot of Helldivers, you know.
Still
Helldivers.
Not playing any VR games because you're phony.
What else? What else am I gonna do besides Firewall? Was on yesterday.
I'm gonna be one of those phonies soon as well. I'm gonna start playing Final Fantasy.
Oh shit! Yeah, you did say that. You did say that was gonna happen. Yeah, you know, you gotta allow a man his flat game now and again. You know, especially when Sony are not providing us. with them AAA bangers at a steady cadence.
It's over.
It's over. Maybe it's over. Yeah, this is going to be a doom and gloom episode because obviously we've
When
had.
is it not?
When is it not? Yeah, no. The last few weeks have been doom and gloom, but today has been particularly rough. Some people are kind of in. I don't want to say they're in denial, but I feel like they're trying to spin us in a way. It's like it's not so bad, but I think it's pretty bad. And
well, not specifically for VR, but it's just bad for
not
just
necessarily.
gaming.
Although I still think it's kind of bad for VR as well. I'll
Yeah,
get into it as well, but
it is, but not just VR. Yeah.
yeah, not just VR. And obviously, it's bad for the people affected the most, who are losing their jobs and stuff like that. And wish them the best and hope they land on their feet. It's not just about games and shit. These are real people who are being affected and losing jobs and getting stressed out and whatnot. So hopefully they get scooped up by somebody else pretty quick.
I hear those guys, the Helldivers guys, really need help with their really popular games. So maybe just go work for them.
There you go. Get them to do a PSVR2 port. A lot of people seem to think that game would be good in PSVR2, but would it be? Like, would it not just be chaos? You're like diving around the place constantly, and you need to be looking
the game
around
mechanics
360. Would it work well?
The game mechanics wouldn't lean well to VR. Honestly, they'd have to kind of.
Isn't there like a keypad? Like you have to enter in the D-pad. Isn't there a D-pad, like a sequence you need to enter in? And it's like there's not even a D-pad on the Sense controllers. How would you do that?
You fucking with your dumbass eye tracking that you worship so much about Firewall. There's many things. You guys haven't even played it. I'm telling you,
I'm not shitting. I'm not trying to shit now. I'm sure it's a great game.
No, the VR would work. I mean, obviously they have to implement certain things, but I have a feeling with how popular the game is. I hope a fucking Prey Dog or whoever does a fucking VR mod for the PC, because it's not Unreal Engine, so we can't use the other.
I think I saw an article that they said the engine they use is like one that's like discontinued, or like nobody else is using that engine or something. So I'd imagine it might be hard for Prey Dog to do anything with this. Geisen is there as well, and Actual says I only own a Quest 3, but worries me all the layoffs from Sony and their VR team / studios. Well, Meta's had their layoffs as well. They've been cutting down the Onward Downpour, was that their name? I can't remember. And they've kind of gutted Ready at Dawn as well. That used to be a great studio, and God knows I don't even know how many people are left there. It feels like they're not doing anything anymore. But anyway, let's just jump into the news that we're alluding to straight off the bat, with the news that Sony have had big layoffs today. 900 people, which is 8% of their staff. And it's not actually Sony, it's specifically PlayStation. So let me just open up my notes here. So yeah, the studios affected included Insomniac, Naughty Dog, Guerrilla. And if you they put out this blog post where they're like, we got some bad news today. And it's like the kind of word
everything in the blog post.
of course.
Bad news.
Well, you don't want to listen. You don't want to stay to play for closing studios. It's like, and now what studio are we going to close next?
That would have been great.
The little in between video. And now we'll move on.
The lady narrating. You'll never guess which studio we're about to ruin next, and then fucking Naughty Dog pops up. But no. What the fuck was I going to say? Oh yeah, so they were kind of like, there's layoffs, people losing their jobs. But then what I think the headline should have been, Sony London is closed completely. Because I know everyone's losing their job, so everyone that's equally bad for everyone who's losing their job. But when you're closing a studio, that's bigger news, I think. But they kind of hid it away as a bullet point. It's these so and so is losing support. Sony London is closing entirely. And just it felt like they were kind of sneaking us in a little bit, and it was big news. Yeah. Which of course Sony London, you can see the video playing there. They did Blood and Truth. They did PSVR Worlds. They were the big PSVR 1 studio that did the first party stuff. If you thought of first party Sony support for last generation, then it was Sony London. Now, the people out there who are kind of saying I'm overreacting to this and this isn't bad news for PSVR 2 will point out that they're not actually working, or they weren't, working on a PSVR 2 game. They were working on some kind of cartoony looking RPG that was a live service game as well. Which, by the way, when they revealed that, I was disappointed with that too, because they specifically mentioned in the blog post that they revealed that, and it's no, it's not a VR game this time, as if to say, don't worry, it's not a VR game, which was which is also a red flag. But you know, I always hoped that maybe the next game they did would be a Blood and Truth sequel, or they might return to the Getaway and it might have VR support, or even that game they might have patched in, you know, hybrid functionality with PSVR 2 at some point. But that's gone now. We won't have that anymore, and there's a lot of talent in that studio with a lot of virtual reality expertise that Sony had under their belt, and they decided, you know, out of all the people that we can get rid of, we don't need these guys. All they have is VR support.
It's not necessarily means that we'll never see a Blood and Truth carried over to PSVR 2, because they're not the only ones that could do that. But,
That's true. I just think,
but
it's
I think
unlikely.
it would have happened by now if it was ever going to happen. So.
But we should also talk about Firesprite as well, because they're the studio. Their last two games have been Horizon Call of the Mountain, and before that they did the Persistence for PSVR 1, so they're kind of a big PSVR studio as well that Sony have under their belt, and they've been hit with layoffs too, although not significant enough to shut down the whole studio. But also what was revealed by Jason Schreier, who's a journalist for Bloomberg, he was like, hey, by the way, these guys were working on Twisted Metal, and that got cancelled along with these layoffs. So I have a hard time believing that Twisted Metal game, if it did come out, wouldn't have been a PSVR 2 game, or at least hybrid. You know, they're saying it was a live service Twisted Metal game, so I'm sure it wouldn't have just been PSVR 2. But because it's Firesprite, because the genre would fit it so well, you know, you'd think it would have.
What other games? Firesprite. How many flat games have they ever made? Have they made any?
I'm gonna have to Google that shit. I think they're made up of ex Studio Liverpool developers who are the Wipeout developers and stuff like that. So I think they weren't too long formed before they did the Persistence, but I could be wrong. About that. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, so they're actually big as well. The Firesprite were a way bigger studio than Sony London. So they're I think they had a lot of irons in the fire, a few things going at the same time. But yeah, and I put at the end here, if Sony are serious about first party PSVR 2 support, would they really kill Sony London like this? You know, is this another red flag? Because you know, these people have lots of experience with virtual reality. Wouldn't you want to hang on to them if you're planning on PSVR 2 support? Because somebody else pointed out to me as well, if you look at the credits of Horizon Call of the Mountain, you'll see Sony London where they're supporting them on that. Go on, sorry.
What are your expectations? What are your expectations? Because, I mean, it kind of is a little bit worse than most people thought it was gonna be. But I mean, the PSVR 2 had a really good year in my opinion, the first one, but it's still not we saw the graph compare PSVR 2 versus Quest. The amount of VR headsets that have sold recently, the majority is more Quest. So I think it's just hard. There's no money for these developers to, you know, even like you said, some of them even just do an update of their previous game on PSVR 2. That it just seems like there's just no money, especially right now with all these people getting laid off, not only in the VR industry but every fucking industry everywhere. People are just getting laid off. So I think it's just gonna be hard. I hope that it survives in a way that, you know, we still get good games here and there, but you know, for me it looks kind of bad. Not like it's all over, but you know what I mean. We were already kind of begging for fucking attention and some good games, and then after this, it just seems like let's get a PC, you know.
Well,
I know it sounds easy, but
yeah. Well, yeah, it depends on what you can afford for running VR on it, but
yeah, fucking PCs. They're cheaper now, but they're still very expensive. Dude. It's fucking hard.
It's also kind of confusing because Sony's way in the lead in terms of console generation. They're ahead of Xbox and Nintendo in terms of revenue for consoles. So if that means that they're still hurting to have to close, is everybody doing that bad? If they're closing studios, then obviously Microsoft would have to be
I think a lot of it has to do with, remember the COVID pandemic, and there was a big boom kind of for the gaming industry. There was everyone was up by 20% over the previous year, and then when the pandemic ended, those numbers kind of drop down naturally. But the shareholders always expect growth. You know, you need growth, no matter how realistic it is. It's like this is the way the capitalism works, you know, and it's a sad reality.
Because they can't afford to lose that second ivory back scratcher, right?
There
So
you go.
like
There you go.
they don't want to lose a penny, so they'll cut corners wherever.
Exactly.
They
So
can.
even though, like, I think it was like in the last quarter they posted like fucking record-breaking revenues, even though they were still under their targets. I think they expected to sell 25 million PS5s, and they only sold 23, which was still record-breaking.
Yeah.
So they had to adjust. And it's like, we need to pinch pennies now. They're fucking closing studios and shit to make up for this money that, you know, was I don't know. It doesn't seem sustainable.
Economy.
So
Economy, dude.
yeah, it'll start back up again. Hopefully, obviously we're in the going into this second half of the console life, so it's not gonna be dead.
I'm not worried about the gaming industry as a whole, really.
No, I know,
but
the VR industry.
Yeah. We need
PSVR.
I don't think.
I'm not so worried about the VR overall with the Questicle.
Well, I
Not
don't know. When you have Ubisoft saying Assassin's Creed didn't sell enough on Quest, we're not invested in that anymore. I mean, it's everywhere, I think.
Well, if we want to expect those, like first party, like IPs like that, then it might be. But games that will have really good games, right? That they might not be a known IP or whatever. I think we're still gonna get them. And it's
so those are indies. We're still gonna get indies, but you know, how can PSVR2 live off indies? I don't think they can. I don't think any platform.
No. But it depends on what Sony's strategy is. Like if they're gonna cut the smaller studios that make games for them, because like in truth, like some of these studios did make games like that, like we like, but like they're not like selling tons of copies, so they are probably like losing money in terms of like the sales that are coming out of the games that are the cost of making the games.
Yeah,
because VR is still pretty niche. So I mean, it's like a gamble. Like anytime that they make a game in VR, it's just like how much are we going to afford to put into this game, and hope that the return comes back. Because they also scale it. They also scale it with like how many headsets have we sold, right? So like they'll like look at the metrics, how many VR headsets are out there that people own, and how much of those percentage would be likely to buy this game. So like if they do the math and it doesn't look like it's like, okay, well, only a fraction of this is going to be interested in this game. So
causes or whatever, yeah.
Then we'll cut it. Yeah. Then why are we wasting money?
But I think if you're
going to play,
if you're Sony and if you're actually making these headsets, I think you have to be willing to put the loss leaders or whatever the official term is, like put out these big games, know that you're not going to get your money back because it's not there, but with the at least in the short term. But then the idea would be we put out enough of these good games. The word gets out that there's a solid library. More and more people start buying them over time. The legs of them maybe get longer, and then you make your money back in the long term with more headsets sold and more people buying more games eventually. But the way it is now, it just looks bad. You know, you have people like Ryan McCaffrey on IGN. I don't know if you've seen his tweets. Basically,
I'm sure it's a gem. I'm sure it's a gem.
It's like the 1 year anniversary. He's like, 1 year ago, I wasted $600, and Sony have showed us nothing. And like, I retweeted that saying, because a lot of people were replying to him saying, "Listen, you're full of shit. We've had Resident Evil, we've had this, and this," giving out a list. But I retweeted him saying, you know, even though I think he's wrong, I think it's like a valuable enough way, because I think the way he sees us is the way most mainstream gamers see us. Even though we have all these games, Sony are like, the way they go about it, the way they message us, it's like hiding them on blogs and shit like that. Nobody knows about them for a lot of them, I think. And we don't know what's coming in 2024, so we don't have anything to look forward to either. So he's able to say these things. He can get away with it.
Neither do the flat screen gamers. So like, I don't know what
it's Wolverine. You know, there's still.
That's not this year.
But it's a future game. I didn't mean just this year, but I mean like a
one game. One game that we know.
But you know, Ghost of Tsushima 2 is coming. You know, another Horizon game is going to come. I mean, you're guaranteed, and even if you're not guaranteed those things, you're still guaranteed AAA third-party games, Helldivers and fucking Final Fantasy and all this shit. But on PSVR 2, we don't have those guarantees So we need a roadmap.
Phasmo, they need to be more lenient maybe on something.
But do you think, like, why would they give VR a roadmap when they're not giving flat screen gamers a roadmap?
Oh yeah, look, I'm not saying like.
Like why?
I think we should
we're
both
expecting-
both should
we're-
have roadmaps.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. But we're expecting not just us. Like Ryan McCaffrey is expecting us to be getting from Sony what Sony's not giving, like flat screen gamers.
I get
right?
what you mean.
So it's
I
like-
get what you mean. But the PS5
like,
can afford
everybody.
it.
Yeah, sure, but that doesn't mean like they're not doing anything. Like it's.
Oh no, I know that. I know they might have like 12 fucking AAA bangers lined up, and they're just not telling anyone about them. Obviously they don't, but you know, in theory they could have.
Not likely.
But my
even
point
if-
is, as long
even if
while they keep
Go ahead.
being quiet and not keeping us out of the loop, people like Ryan
Yeah.
McCaffrey, who has over 100,000 followers, and you know he's got he's a
Yeah.
big influencer kind of in the space. He can go out and say these things, and he can get thousands and thousands of likes and retweets, and people will just take it in, and that snowballs and spreads the negativity around the PSVR2. And we end
Yeah.
up with, you know, the Amazon sales where the Quest outsells the PSVR2
Yeah,
like 30
but
to
I
1.
don't think we can blame. I don't think we can put so much blame on them. Even though yes, I agree, but like, I just feel like a lot of people, even though they see Resident Evil, they see whatever, they don't. Some people are just not like for us. Unfortunately for us, they're not interested in VR. You know. So I think yes, these people don't help obviously because there's some people that they might jump in and be like, oh man, this is fucking great, but they're not gonna jump in because they see tweets like this guy or mainstream people like, oh, this fucking sucks, right? So I get that point, but I do feel like overall we're just, you know, for some reason, and I get it, for some people it's not, but some people are just not really into VR, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if we need to get better graphics, more immersive, actual full games like Half-Life, like
Who
more
knows?
Resident Evil types. I just don't know,
But
but
you
I
won't
think
get
it's
that
just-
with indies is the problem. I'm like,
I know,
we're in a
I know,
position where
I
we
know.
have to rely on indies, but you're not going to get the things you just listed there.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think we put a lot, which, you know, a lot of the blame on that's just people, you know, they're getting pushed away by these, you know, mainstream people saying that it sucks. But I feel like there's a lot of people that even though they know about it, they're just not really interested, which it kind of sucks for us. So I know a lot of those people are like, yeah, I heard about Resident Evil. Just like, nah, I don't fucking care.
I think, yeah,
You
the
know?
people who brought up Resident Evil to him, he's like, well, that's a port of a year-old game or something like that. You know, he's got like a shit answer like that because I don't think that's
I
the same
think
thing. It's a completely different way to play it. It's not the same as like playing it flat
Yeah.
or whatever.
And he's the one that like praised it as being like one of the greatest things in the world when he played it. So it's just like, okay, well,
For
you have a
Gran
short
Turismo
memory.
7, like, yeah, he was
Gran
very hyped
Turismo.
about it. So that's why I was hopeful that he was going to be, you know, more of a positive influence throughout the year, but obviously that hasn't come to term. But
No.
if Sony,
And then you go to their Sony guys as well, and they're no help either. So
they're just
it's
like
not
ignoring us. I think they're just ignoring us.
Yeah, they just don't talk about it.
I don't even, yeah, like he was, at least I think he was genuinely excited about it. Like a lot of people are like, he's an Xbox fanboy
Yeah.
and he's just like spreading shit. But I think he just believes what he's saying. And my point, which
Sure.
I tried to make poorly, is that Sony need to make it so that like you can look at what he's saying and say that's 100% a lie. You know, to shut him
Yeah.
up, you know. But the way it is now, he's able to say that and get away with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we can't point to a big 2024 game and say, no, this is coming, you know. So as long as we're
Yeah.
like that, then, you know, he can keep going. I'm going to try and catch up on the chat a little bit because I've been ignoring them for too long. LSB says, truly sad to see any talented dev team to lose their studio. I agree. Fozzie Bear says, kind of explains First Contact. Yeah, it seems like if you got a lot of virtual reality experience, they're happy to let you shut down. Even I know it's not first party, but you know, I feel like they could have saved them. You think this was a last fuck you from Jim Ryan before he leaves in April? Says it's free viewer real estate. I saw a fucking picture that's circulating now on Twitter. He was at he was at like a party at Sony London Studios like 4 days ago, and they're all there. Like, you know, I think it was maybe like actually no, I don't know what it was. I was going to say a retirement party, but I don't know what the reason was. But you know, they're all standing in a group holding hands with Jim Ryan, and then like a few days later he's like, you're fired. You know, so it's like, fucking hell. It's a bad look. It's a new meme, I think. Bjorn Mech hates that dickhead. I assume he's talking about Jim Ryan.
talking about you.
Me, I
I
probably
was waiting. I was waiting for you.
Important says they need a tool that simply ports PSVR 1 games to PSVR 2 with a button push, ups the res and maps the controls. That would be cost effective. And I think that would have been a perfect job to give a Sony London studio or Fire Sprice or even First Contact maybe. Give them these games to either port them from PSVR 1 to PSVR 2 or from flat to VR to make hybrid games, But instead of doing
Much
that,
money.
But Prey Dog can do it. He's just one man. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe they're bitches at Sony and their expectations or their fucking testing or whatever requirements are so fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
if Prey Dog was at Sony, he would have the tools necessary to get it to that level, if you know what I mean. Obviously, it wouldn't be just him by himself. Let's say he had a team or something.
I don't know.
Well, maybe they did. For all I know, he doesn't want to work with them. Maybe they did approach him. He was like, "No, thank you. I'm making enough money."
I
off
highly doubt
Patreon or
Sony
whatever."
approached him. Sony, again, you always think you have, every time you think about Sony and what they're gonna do for VR, you always have like some hope, some
Yeah,
hope.
I've just been
yes,
shitting on them for the last 20 minutes straight.
I know, but you have to know.
But I'm just saying, for
Sony-
all I know, they could have approached him like a year ago, and he was like, "No, thank you, not interested." Like, do we know if he's interested in being hired by any of these people?
If they pay him well, I'm sure. I don't know.
Or he's already getting paid
Maybe
well,
he
isn't he?
doesn't.
Like, doesn't he take donations and stuff for the work he's
I
doing
know,
now?
but I'm saying if he gets paid like fucking loaded and a fucking yachts and shit.
Yeah, but nobody in Sony London was getting getting paid.
I'm just
money,
saying, depends how much.
Mad Hasser, how you doing? Says hopefully they're letting go of devs that defend mid games with making games is hard. I mean, if they're just wiping out a whole studio.
Yeah.
We don't really know the extent of Fire Sprice, Naughty Dog, Insomniac. They've all like Guerrilla Games as well. I think they were all his. But for all I know, it could be just like 10 people from those, and then loads from Sony London. I don't know how big Sony London was, but I don't think it was too big.
Fucked up.
There's several studios that are like currently supposed to be like making games right now, which we still haven't really heard anything about.
Do you mean like first party studios from Sony?
Yeah, I forget which one,
Yeah.
but like there was a studio that was supposed to be making like a VR game. I don't know. So like everything like just went quiet, and I can't even really remember. It's been so long since like it was even a topic that I
You sure
can't
that
even
wasn't
remember
Fire
what
Sprice?
Maybe. I have no idea. I can't remember.
Like
I
they
just remember
teased
there was
something.
one studio that was supposed to be like making some kind of
I
VR.
think it might have been Fire Sprice. If that's the only first party one that I can think of where they were like rumored, like there was a job listing looking for something.
Oh yeah, maybe it was them.
But also Team Asobi, the ones who do Astrobot. Like, I mean, if they bring out another game like another Astrobot, which is most likely what they would do, and if it's not a hybrid or if it doesn't have PSVR 2 support, then that's
bad.
game over. That's game
That's
over.
really
That's
bad.
no more red
really
flags.
bad,
That's the
yeah.
black flag.
Well,
The coffin
why
has been
didn't
lowered into the
they?
ground.
Well, I guess they didn't do it because the VR wasn't available yet. But I was gonna say, why didn't they do the little demo you have when you buy the PS5?
Yeah, well,
The little Astrobot thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It's not in VR support. But I'm just assuming it's because the VR was not out yet.
No, it
yeah,
wasn't.
didn't come out for like 2 years after. My hope is like they went straight into working on a PSVR 2 game right after that came out. It could be wishful thinking, though, the way things are going.
Yeah, let's hope.
VR MX says Quest 3 is running every Quest game with improved graphics and performance. So whatever. I don't know what that's in relation to.
You're just saying like Quest is doing okay, so it's no worries for him. I think is what he's.
It's doing okay. I guess, I mean, it doesn't have any exclusives. It's still being steamrolled by the Quest 2. Like, the Quest 2 is, like, really outselling us a lot. I haven't heard like the big hype over Quest 3 like there was for Quest 2, and I think a lot of that has to do with the price. I think if it had that Quest 2 price, they'd be back there again.
And the Quest 2 is on sale too for like $250 now.
There you go.
And you get the fatter memory. I think you get the 128 gig as a standard instead of the 64.
Mad Hazard says, is Ryan McCaffrey or whatever not like one of the top lads in relation to Xbox coverage? Yes, he is, but I don't think like he's praised PlayStation games. He doesn't just like fanboy.
Yeah,
even though a lot of people would say he's a fanboy, but he seems like a reasonable fanboy, if you know what I mean. where he's able to acknowledge that PlayStation do have good stuff. I mean, he was excited about PSVR 2. He did buy it day one. He wanted to try something different that Xbox weren't offering. But his expectations were obviously... Because, and listen, say whatever he wants about year 2, fine. But like the way he's talking is like year 1 was bad. Which I will not agree with. Year 1 for PSVR 2 was like excellent. Like really, like way better than the Xbox. Like way better than the Xbox first 3 years. So don't talk to me about that. Important says, not everyone likes Resident Evil. It's a bit anime in its storytelling and character development. Yeah, the Resident Evil storylines aren't, you know, they're not Oscar bait. But they are like full games. It does feel like a full, proper AAA experience. And Brandon is here. How are you doing, Brandon? He was actually first, hours ago. Important would buy a 0-hour report. I think London Studio was doomed long ago, says Namek. I think one of the employees leaked some YouTuber the rumor about Horizon VR and the project was handed over to Fire's Price. This was still back in 2019. That is true, I think. I do remember hearing that London Studios was working on it first. But I don't know why. I don't know what the reason was. Was it because they were having development issues, or was it because they didn't want to do VR anymore? Because they were very proud about their next game not being VR, it seemed. Devilon, how you doing? He says he's been unreasonable about it from day one. He bought the hardware to do this performance he does now. I don't know. Maybe that's true. And maybe like if that is, that's like a really, you know, that's like really going out of your way to shit on something, to spend $600 on it. And because he was praising Gran Turismo 7 so much. Is he rich?
That's the only game I remember him
he's rich.
actually like praising though.
Yeah, but if he was like in it to shit on PSVR 2, like surely he wouldn't even praise that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well.
But listen, I could be completely wrong. I don't know him personally. I don't follow what he's saying like all the time. I do know he has like an Xbox bias. But I didn't think he was like unreasonable towards PlayStation, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Frank is here. How you doing, Frank? Says, balls, I could have joined today. Howdy, buds. Well, let me know. Let me know when you're free on this time. Like every Tuesday. And we'll get you in here, Frank. Love Machine, how you doing? Mark Smith, how's it going? And congrats, Brandon, on the racing chair. Brandon got a racing chair. Congratulations. And Devilon says, but he won't even praise Gran Turismo 7 today. He praised it in the preview, but have never shown when he's been playing as after he pauses. That doesn't make sense. I guess,
Gran Turismo update not too long ago.
What you mean update?
Wasn't there an update in Gran Turismo? Like they didn't add new cars or something? I just saw it.
Oh yeah, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Not recently, though. Yeah, a few weeks ago.
No, several weeks ago. Right? Got a couple of new cars.
Yeah, Devilon, and by the way, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. But if he's doing it with other games where he is tweeting himself, playing as a loss and whatnot, then okay. That's something to talk about, I guess. But if it is just this is how he is with all games, then I don't know. I don't analyze him. I don't know what his history is like, so I can't say for sure. Marcus is here.
Who cares?
I'm just saying, there's good and bad games on Quest as LSB. 100%, mostly bad. We can all agree on that.
No,
we can all agree on that.
Go on the store, the Quest.
I'm just talking shit. I'm just talking shit. All right. Stop crying, please, for 5 seconds. Anyway,
you've been crying for 30 minutes. Of
course I have.
32 minutes.
So I have been talking a lot. So why don't you two? Is there anything else you want to say about this? Like I feel like it's a big topic, you know.
It sucks. I feel bad, obviously, for people getting laid off. That fucking sucks. You know, that's probably the worst thing I feel out of everything.
Yeah.
Do you think I'm being unreasonable if I think that this is like a red flag for PSVR 2, or?
I told you some months ago a red flag. I'm glad you're realizing it now. But yeah, I think it's a red flag. Not horrible. It's not over, but I think it's obviously not good. I think a lot has to do with the economy, but it's just, again, it's so niche, like you said, and Quest is just selling a lot more of the VR headsets, and people there's no money on the exclusive for these PSVR 2 unless we get those hybrids, Resident Evils, Gran Turismo.
But where are these hybrids
it all
coming
just
from?
depends. it depends on how long Sony stays quiet as well. How long is it going to take for Sony to actually like tell us anything about what they have plans?
I mean, how long should we be waiting? Like, what's realistic for us to be like, okay, they're
Well,
still not saying
originally,
anything. Now we panic.
originally, I was waiting for the 1 year anniversary, which we did get a few games announced.
Yes,
Like
we
they
did.
didn't, they gave us something, and they also said that it's going to be like coming to PC. So you can take that announcement for the VR like going to PC as a negative if you're pessimistic about like, okay, well they're just giving up on the headset, so they're just trying to port it to the PC so people can still use it and have a reason to own it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Or
guess
it's a proactive move on their parts, thinking, okay, well, the Quest is taking off because they have the ability to plug into a PC or play it unhooked as well. So like, I think it's a smart idea. Like I'm thinking of it positively. Like if they have plans for their headset and they have games like in development now that they haven't announced yet, and they want to push more headsets out, a good way to do that is make it so like a lot of people want to be able to play with the VR headset on PC. So like if they're giving that to all the people that wanted it with a better technical headset than the Quest 3, then that'll turn people away from getting a Quest 3 and be like, okay, well, I can just get a PlayStation VR2. I don't even have to have a PlayStation 5. I can play VR games with this headset.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into this later on, but like we're assuming that. It might be a case where you might need a PS5 to still play it on PC, and we don't know how it works.
Yeah, we don't know all the ins and outs. I'm just doing like the base, like, okay, it's gonna run on PC and everything's.
Which is what I assumed immediately, but then other people are like, no, it's going to be way more complicated. You can't just plug it in and it'll work and blah 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 blah. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's sorry. Go on.
Like,
no, I was just gonna say it depends on who what your expectations were or what expectations are about the fucking PSVR 2. Because in my opinion, people have completely different expectations. In my opinion, you have fucking expectations up the roof that were not realistic. I have some type of high expectations, but like Decepticon's expectations were in the dirt, which so far his opinion or his expectations have been, I think, the most accurate. Because he told me this shit. Yeah, he told us this shit months ago.
Well, yeah, he's wrong. The first year proved him wrong. Year one was a good year.
No. Listen, it's not that it's a bad year or anything. What I'm saying is you were talking about fucking Grand Theft Auto 5 in VR.
Yes,
and all
that
this
was my
fucking
expectations.
crazy
That was my expectations.
Okay.
That's what I wanted Sony to do.
I think it's gonna still the same. The economy fucking sucks. They have to lay off people because nobody's buying PSVR 2's expectations that they thought because how popular VR is or was or whatever. So they have to lay off a lot of people, unfortunately. And then when economy picks up a little bit more, maybe they start investing again. But I think we're just gonna get a lot of ports or a lot of games that come on the Quest. You know, now they're coming on PSVR 2. We're gonna survive on that. Maybe one exclusive here and there. Maybe some of this like Resident Evil type games that are not only flat but VR. But I just don't think we should expect, like, you're like, oh, they must be working on some. I don't think they're working on shit. They might be working on maybe one or two, but I don't think they're, well, they have a banger. They're gonna have to.
I don't think they're working on anything now either.
I think we should expect what, not as good as first year, I think, but pretty similar. But I don't think we should expect this to get better. I think it might get slightly worse before it gets better.
It might get worse.
I think it depends on the
Bad news.
economy.
Like in all honesty, if Sony was making a first party VR title, they would have. I'm like fairly certain they would have came out and said that at the 1 year anniversary of the PlayStation.
You would imagine. You know,
like especially if it was in like been being worked on for a little while now. Not if they just started it, maybe they wouldn't.
Yeah.
But if something was already in the works, like why would they not like say like, oh, 1 year anniversary, and when they did like all the games, like the new games coming out for it, they would have thrown it in there. Like they would have ended it off with like, and now look at this one that they have coming out from whoever. Like,
because they hate us.
Yeah, well, it's not that they hate us. It's just it's because
they won't commit. They're not putting both feet in the water.
They can't commit because not enough people care about fucking VR, and it's so.
But this is the chicken and egg. This is the chicken and egg situation. You need to start caring about it so that people will start caring about it. So
yes, but even if they started throwing games, that's not a guarantee that all these idiots that are out there that just like don't even want to even look at VR it's just so
But
frustrating.
not doing
and
us will prove them right. Ryan McCaffrey will be right,
Right.
if they don't do it. You know, so it's like you're
Right.
damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But you have to take the
They gotta
risk.
try.
If you
They
want
gotta
to,
try.
yeah, you have to try.
Yeah.
You have to try. That's the
They have to
onus
try.
is on them to do it.
And they can do it with just one title. If they sit down and they think like, what IPs do we have, and what game can we make a VR game out of that will make the biggest waves for all the people that like shit on VR, and then make them have to be like, okay, well, wait a second, we might want to try that game. Like, would it be like a like
one
make,
game? I
It
don't think
would've
one game
been-
will.
No,
make
it
It
could
would
be.
have been
It could
Sony
be.
London's The Getaway VR. You know, there's your Grand Theft Auto in VR. They had first party. It was an ideal IP they could have went to. They already kind of Blood and Truth was basically The Getaway, but it wasn't open world or whatever. But you know, you got a next generation hardware. They could have done
Yeah.
something like that, but no.
Dude,
But
I think
that-
Firewall could have.
That wouldn't have been big
a
enough.
huge pull,
Like,
too.
like if they put money into like one of their big IPs, I mean, like if they like, okay, let's make like a God of War, not like a stupid little port or something, but an actual God of War, like walking around as Kratos and like throwing his axe and shit, or even
The
like a
Last of Us.
Spider-Man game,
The Last of Us is
or The Last of Us. Like, just pick one of them, like one game, like, and consider like how many people would like love to play in VR. Like Spider-Man is the like a quick choice because like who doesn't want to like swing around as Spider-Man? But then you get into like, okay, well, how many people would get sick?
Yeah, that's the big
There's-
problem with
there's-
Spider-Man.
there's all
That's
those
why I'd always
yeah.
go with Last
Yeah,
of Us
it's
before
90.
Spider-Man.
Right. So that would cater to all the VR owners that already love VR and don't get sick. Would
Yeah.
love Spider-Man probably above all else. But in terms of marketing, like that wouldn't be a great choice because a lot of people would be like, "Oh, I'd like to play it, but I'd probably throw up." Ha ha ha. Like, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah,
They
so-
would, probably, yeah.
Well, yeah, well, that's the
people get sick in Gran Turismo. So if you can get sick in Gran Turismo, imagine what you're going to do in Spider-Man.
He's swinging around as Spider-Man, yeah. But like a game like God of War, like if you're just walking around as Kratos and you're seeing his axe in front of you and you can turn around and then throw it and then whip it back to your hand and feel
Yeah.
like the vibration in your controller, that's like a pretty good fit.
100%. And the Last
Yeah,
of
can you
Us,
imagine a
stealth
God of
horror.
War? Yep. Nah, fuck stealth. God of War. I don't like stealth games. They're boring as fuck. The MJ missions in Spider-Man, holy fuck,
Yeah,
they were so boring.
They'd actually suit virtual reality very well, because that'd be the
No,
best part
fuck
in the
that.
Spider-Man
Well,
games.
I'm saying if
It
we
would be a
had
game.
God of War, but with the mechanics of that fucking game we played, Tales, whatever.
Legendary
it's called.
Tales. Legendary Tales.
Yeah.
Yeah, Legendary
Like,
Tales, but
yeah.
God of War, that would be fucking sick.
Yeah,
like
that kind
proper-
of experience. But
Yeah.
like that would be a gamble, but it's a gamble that they would have to take to get people turning their heads and saying like this is the only thing that you can play this game on, and make it so good that
People want to, like with Half-Life Alyx. Like a lot of people are mad that
Yeah.
Half-Life Alyx is a VR game.
Yeah.
They still are, and some people are like, "Fuck it, I have to buy this to get it." Not enough people, obviously, because I don't think the index
right.
has sold a huge amount. But
Right.
still,
It's expensive as fuck.
like they
Well,
might have
that
sold
also
more
goes
if they'd
back
made
to-
more games. You know, they made one really
Yeah.
good reason, and then they stopped. Like Valve was like, if they just kept going with the first-party support, you know, like Sony could. Like they don't have Sony's like studios, but Sony should have been doing that. You know, The Last of Us, everything's sit there. It's all there perfectly ready to go, but they're not doing it.
You're
And
missing a
you,
lot.
It also goes back to the like trying to get the PSVR2 on the PC, because if it actually does work like everybody wants it to work, does that mean like that we'll actually just get to play Half-Life Alyx like with our PSVR2? Like just
don't
go to
know.
Steam, download
I don't
Half-Life Alyx, and there we go. We can play it. It doesn't have to have ported over to PlayStation, and we just play it on Steam. That would be great.
I'm gonna try and catch up on some
I
comments
guess
here.
if you have a good enough computer, which I don't, so I'm out on that one. But maybe
Tasiki
I'll
says
get
we do have to remember that literally everyone is letting people go. Yeah, listen, we Jackpot, I think it was, who said that. You know, it's an industry wide
Yeah.
problem. The problem is Sony's got all
VR
these
so
studios,
small.
but look at the ones they decided to shut down. You know, the
Right.
ones that like
Big
Fire
ones.
Sprites, they downsized them. We don't know how much, but the way they say they downsized them, they didn't really
Yeah.
say, they didn't use that word for Naughty Dog. They just like some people were laid off at Naughty Dog and Insomniac. And then
Yeah.
obviously Sony London Studios was actually just shut completely. It's like, oh, these guys, they just did VR stuff. They can go. They can get the job.
maybe this is all just really bad timing of like when the PlayStation VR2 came out. Like if the economy was booming, and everyone was happy and not worried about money, maybe the VR would be like taken up because people would be willing to take a risk more. Like, all right, I'll give this one a try. But like, when people are worried about like, how are they going to fill their car with gas like over the course of a month?
Yeah.
It's like, probably not going to go risk buying a headset for like $550 that I may or may not be able to play.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially with no roadmap. No roadmap. Why would I buy it?
With no roadmap. Unless you're lucky enough to like have a friend that has a VR headset, you can't like go and try it to see like if it makes you sick or not. And with all the talk about how it makes people sick, it's like, all right, well, I don't want to get it.
You can buy a Quest.
No, don't listen to that, man. Brandon says my experience. My expectations was too high for PSVR2. Not being part of PSVR1, my expectations were too high. Interesting. Frank says they focused on cars. PS Whip. Not sure what either of those are in reference.
Pistol Whip?
Maybe not to me. Pistol Whip. But what's the reference? What was it for?
Pistol Whip is the shit. That game is good.
Pistol Whip is good from what I hear. I haven't played it yet. Seems like it'll make me sweat too much. Mr. Tortoise says the GT7 devs kind of forgot it has VR though. Lol, not a single VR update for GT7. Yeah, they really need to get rid of that. I know Muzz is complaining about it a lot too, the black wireframe thing when you move your head too far.
Yes, please, just get rid of that. I would
just make an optional
like
toggle to get rid of it.
Is it in every car, Muzz, or only certain cars? Or you get
it's in every car, but some cars triggers it so fast, like much worse than others. Like I'll be in one car and I'll be able to do this, and it still doesn't trigger it, and then I will go a little further, and it does. And in another car, I'll be sitting like this, and I'll just do this, and then suddenly it will like go to. It's like there's no.
It's a tiny little cockpit. Maybe it's like to do with the cockpit sizes or whatever.
Yeah.
VR Mech says you're just having a warped view on it, as only now you're getting old VR games, the cream of the crop that were already there years ago on Quest. Sure thing. Legendary Tales is on Quest, wasn't it? Oh no, it's not.
Maybe just PC.
Maybe Pavlov? Oh no, just a weird little spin-off called Pavlov Shack with the mobile graphics from 2002.
There are like we're saying all of this, but like there's like a handful of games that I'm really excited for, like the Wanderer.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Coming out, like I can't wait to play that. I never played it on the
Me neither. Yeah, so
I'll be able to play that, and all the screenshots and like the clips of it like look amazing. I think it looks like Half-Life Alyx quality, like the way that he's like pours the water out like out of the bottle, and it's just like pouring, and like not like this typical VR like little stream coming out and then it just goes away. Increases. Yeah, like a line, but it looks like it's actual like fluid coming out of a bottle.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Right,
when he jumps in the water as well, you can see like the water line and the eyes. It's like a proper kind of cool looking realistic water line.
It looks so good. I'm excited to play it. And then now that we know that there's another one coming out after that, like pirate base, like imagine what those guys can do with like a pirate game. It's like pirate fantasy, like
Mark
going on ships and like.
I'm sorry, but Mark just donated $20 and Tsuki
from
screaming in my ear.
Stereoscopic hybrids would instantly turn heads on VR2. The general consumer that doesn't care about VR would instantly turn their head if a major IP was announced. Spider-Man is already in VR on PC. Returnal is wicked in VR.
Okay, I'm just going to read it out for you lads because you didn't hear. So Mark, thank you very much first of all for the $20 dues. Appreciate it very much. He says stereoscopic hybrids would instantly turn heads on VR2. The general consumer that doesn't care about VR would instantly turn their head if a major IP was announced. Spider-Man is already in VR on PC. Returnal is wicked in VR. So yeah, Returnal is one of those games that works in the Prey Dog mod. But,
and it's good.
That's one of those games where I thought that wouldn't work. I was thinking, that no way that game works well in VR because you got to be like dashing constantly and turning around 360 constantly. But apparently people are like, it's insane. It's really
I think Sony was betting on Horizon Call of the Mountain to be that title, which it wasn't. It just wasn't. Like it wasn't a bad game. Like I did enjoy playing it, but it was not like a you must buy a headset and get this game, like that kind of game.
It needed to be.
But it needed to be. And they thought it's almost like they thought that the Horizon name would carry it. Like, okay, people have to get it because it's Horizon. But Horizon to me has never been like a top tier like I need to play Horizon games is the best thing ever.
Actually, I looked into that.
Not
I
for
made
me,
a
anyway.
like before Horizon came out. I made a video on how like this game needs to be Half-Life Alyx for PSVR2, and I was like researching this, and like the Horizon series has outsold Half-Life Alyx by like a lot. It's like just the first Horizon game was 20 million units by itself.
Well,
Which is
Call of the
kind of
Mountain.
crazy. Yeah, no, the Zero Dawn, like
Like
the flat one, the flat one.
Well, you're comparing a flat game to VR.
No, but I'm saying like compared to flat Half-Life, you know, like which franchise is bigger. So like that actually, like the reason they went for that is like it actually does turn heads because
But I
you know it
don't-
sells a lot. Like
Yeah,
But I don't think the franchise is.
But
it
the
should
way
have
that
been
they
a
did
bigger
it-
franchise. Just the
Yeah.
game wasn't as. I mean, like must say, it probably was a good game.
It
But
was a
even
good
like when you
game.
notice, it wasn't something that it's like, oh man, this is fucking amazing, right?
no, I agree.
yeah.
with
It
that.
wasn't.
I
It
agree.
wasn't like walk around freely and like attack the
Right.
giant robots. Like you're in that little the fights were like honestly like they were fun enough, but they were just like a joke. Like you just keep spamming like pressing left or right on the stick, and the nothing hits you. Like you were safe. Like there's like no like risk really in the fights, and it's just very
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
It's too
hand
linear.
holding. It's
They
very
should've done
linear.
the
It was very
VR
hand holding
version.
for like, okay, we have to make it easy for like the newcomers to get into VR, but they like overdid it on that, and it's just like very bare
they should have went
bones.
with The Last of Us. Like you can make it. It's a much easier because that's a big open world game.
Yeah.
Everyone buys Horizon, they expect a big open world. If you buy The
Yeah.
Last of Us, you expect a linear
And it's,
kind of
it's
experience. You know,
and it's also still very grounded and not like something that would give you whiplash, like kind of
Exactly,
going
yeah.
into like a Horizon, because like Horizon combat's so fast paced and like frantic and rolling around, and like
Yeah.
that wouldn't translate to VR nearly as well as like just holding
They
a
should
gun
have
and
made The
shooting.
Last of Us in VR, and that's it.
That's it. That should have been the
Yeah.
launch
Oh,
game.
it's
That
cool.
should have been the
That
launch
would have
game
been
instead of Horizon.
so much
Yeah.
better. That would have been so much, or like a God of War game.
And again, I
Right.
enjoy. I'm not trying to shit on Horizon Call of the Mountain. If you liked it, I liked it. I
No.
liked that game.
It was alright.
But it's not the big like it. Like you know, Last was would have been the big one. It would have been the better fit. And then later on, bring out your Horizon game. You know, but
Yeah,
start
but they
with
let
that
off
one.
with that, and it's almost like they were so disappointed that everybody just didn't fall in love with it, and it didn't sell like millions of headsets.
Yeah,
that
it's
they're just like, oh, all right, well, screw it. Like
Yeah.
you guys don't.
No, you
want-
obviously don't like these games. We
Burn
won't do
it,
them
yeah,
anymore.
Burn it all.
Yeah,
Burn
but
it
like-
to the ground.
It was like the wrong one to start with. Like it just kind of right off the like there was other great games like Gran Turismo, but like their big like put the headset in with it, like the game in with a bundle,
Yeah,
Hmm.
big title, and it just kind of fell flat for most people.
I blame.
Especially if
Herman
you
Hulst.
compare with the bundles with the VR1, it was like what Skyrim was one of them.
Skyrim, yeah.
And no offense, you can't compare Skyrim VR with fucking.
Yeah. What other
There was an
bundles?
Iron Man. They had an Iron Man bundle at some point.
There was an Iron Man.
Yeah, but
Was
like,
there
that
a
kinda sucks.
was there an Astrobot one? I don't think there was.
Maybe not.
I can't remember.
I think there was a
Skyrim
bundle that
one.
had like multiple games that included Astrobot. I had like Skyrim, Astrobot, a
Maybe.
few others, maybe Beat Saber. Actually, was there a Beat Saber
Yeah.
bundle? I think there was a Beat Saber bundle before Quest bought them.
Was there a what is it called? Fucking with the aim controller? Was there a bundle with the aim controller?
Like you could get if you bought the aim controller, you could buy like Firewall was bundled with the controller, but it wasn't with the headset.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Right, right.
And obviously the Fairpoint aim controller.
Those were
bundle as
good
well.
times. Firewall Zero Hour, remember? That was fucking just
Man.
all day, every day.
That turned out like when you play that, I was like, this is exactly what I wanted it to be.
Yep.
Those are the days. I'm trying to catch up on comments again.
Do it.
Nihilist Ryan the Game Feline says most multi-platform viewer games are better on PSVR2 than Quest. Bulletstorm comes to mind. Frank says a little bird may have said those plans were in the works for a long time. And he's talking about PC compatibility. So there you go. Interesting little scoop.
Okay.
So maybe they wanted it to be there day one and they couldn't do it in time for whatever reason.
Yeah. Just kind of working out problems that they ran into maybe, and they just didn't want to say anything until they got it ironed out and more
Yeah.
close to being a reality.
But obviously they still don't have it completely
No.
sorted because like we're testing
No.
this. We're hoping it'll be out this year, but wait and see.
Yeah, well, that's right. Maybe I'm relying on that.
Yeah, maybe they cancel that too. Mr. Tortoise says, yeah, but who has both a PS5 and a beast of PC? It's usually one or the other. Honestly, I feel like that's like this. The PC stuff doesn't benefit unless I'm misreading this or misinterpreting this. If you're a current PSVR2 player, the PC stuff doesn't really benefit you. The majority of us, anyway, unless you also have the PC, which I don't think too many people
Probably.
do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you know what it really comes down to, though?
What's that?
What it really comes down to is now PlayStation VR2 owners can actually watch porn with their VR2 headset.
Damn.
And that's a really big deal, honestly.
Pornhub exclusive
Feedback.
Pornhub can only be watched. Can you imagine Sony
feedback.
acquire Pornhub?
That's their last go before this dude leaves. It's like, oh, we acquire an
We
exclusivity.
finally
deal.
made it mainstream. Viewers finally mainstream. They did it.
Yeah, there you go. That's better than that's bigger than fucking GTA 5 combined.
I do think they should, unironically, this is going to sound like a joke, but they should make porn games for virtual reality. I just know they'd sell. You know, nobody would
Well,
admit,
yeah.
nobody would
Yeah,
admit
they
to buying it.
I don't think.
No one would be going to it. No one would be going into
I don't
GameStop
think
to
there's
buy
too
them.
many of them out there like you. I don't think they'll sell
No,
them.
no. If you got like the
This is
full
cheap,
physics where you're like picking people up and stuff like that, you know, I think that's
Especially if they get,
That's,
if they get that
yeah.
hentai shit in there too,
Oh, yeah.
man.
Give me a good
yeah.
shooter.
you've got plenty though.
Like-
You'll be shooting. You'll be doing some
Suddenly,
shooting.
suddenly the VR headset would start selling a lot more
Speaking
suddenly
of
for no apparent reason.
Maybe.
Nihilist Ryan says betting that PSVR 2 or PSVR support for PSVR 2 will not require a PC. Betting that PSVR support for PSVR 2. What PSVR support for PSVR 2? I'm confused by that. I'm sorry.
I don't know what he
He's
means.
probably talking about he's telling you that you can't play the PC or you can play the PC VR games without a PC. I think that's what he's saying.
Oh wait, he
But I know
corrected himself.
Donnie's
He meant to say
done. He said
PC.
next
He meant to say PC. Sorry, what did what's Donnie said?
Next up, he's done.
Sorry, Donnie. He's very impatient. Mr. Torson says I invested 1,000 into Sony, not a PC. I know this. I feel the same as you. Well, I'm not upset by the fact that it's coming to PC. Like whatever, but I just like don't leave me behind as well. Don't leave me here with these studios that you're shutting down. Mark says once the PC compatibility comes out, I'm getting a beast PC. I wish I could. Frank says my expectations based on what was expressed to me is that it will be a plug and play, but after the announcement the other day, I don't know. Interesting. So if it is plug and play, if it's plug and play, it's great news if you already own a PC. You know,
They might just need the adapter, like the camera did with the.
Yeah, maybe. Hasib Mirza says if we don't get any first party announcement by the summer showcase, it's over. What if we don't even get a summer showcase? Hasib, the way things are going,
Yeah, just a blog post.
just forget about it. Mark Smith says we'll see how the process will be though. Yeah, everything's up in the air. We don't know anything. Sorry for taking so long to get through these comments, by the way. Suki says, you said they would have told us, but they haven't told us anything. Sony is terrible about talking to us. I think he's on about how Muzz said if they have a first party game, they would have told us at the anniversary blog post, which would have been
It would have made sense.
It would make sense.
It would have made
Would have made sense. They hate us because they ain't us. Just trying to catch up. Nihilist says Metro VR and Zombie Army VR are big games coming, so what if they're on both PSVR and PC VR? I don't mind when they're on PC VR. I mind when they're on Quest. You know, I mind when they're being held back by that mobile processing chip. Chairface, how you doing? Says I just don't think a $600 peripheral can succeed in the current economy.
Yeah.
Well, they should have known that before they announced this and tricked me into buying it then.
I told you.
Just trying to skip down a little bit because I'm really behind in the comments. I'm just going underneath the super chat. Elephant Trap is here. How you doing, Elephant Trap? PSVR 1 bundle had Astrobot, Everybody's Golf, Moss, Blood and Truth,
Ooh,
and
Everybody's
VR
Golf.
Worlds. Yeah, that was a nice bundle. But Everybody's Golf was ruined because they didn't have multiplayer. So it's like always the stupid decisions that they make. First party game, great. Everybody wants the golf game. No multiplayer.
Disgusting.
Chaos says I'll wank to that. I assume he's talking about the porn games. Steve says you guys think Sony only had one game in production at release of PSVR 2. No, I feel like Twisted Metal was probably a PSVR 2 game and they cancelled that. I can't prove it.
Cool.
I can't prove it, but just because it was Fire Sprite developing it, they've got a big virtual reality heritage. And Twisted Metal would have fit nicely, kind of like Gran Turismo, how you can do the hybrid, you can do it flat, you know, and in virtual reality, it just would have been a nice fit. Arizona Sunshine 2 is on Quest, but PCVR and PSVR got better versions, says Nihilus Ryan. Decepticon told me GTA San Andreas Viewer is still a thing, and the Quest 3 version of Arizona Sunshine 2 is good. Yeah, I kept hearing that the GTA San Andreas was cancelled on Quest, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. They haven't talked about it in like 4 years or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, delayed.
It's been a long time since they even like talked.
I haven't
like, a
showed
word about
nothing
the
about the game.
So what's the okay? And it's a bit off topic here, but what's the big Quest 3 game that everyone's looking forward to? Like, have they got something announced for 2024 that's like only on Quest 3 that that's going to make you want to buy the headset?
I have no idea.
I don't fucking know. Ask LSB, but
I thought you'd know.
I don't really. I have
He
the
doesn't.
Quest.
He doesn't
but
play Quest. He doesn't play Quest.
I don't really
He's not
buy
gonna-
new. I don't really buy new game. I'm telling you, for me, for the most part, I like multiplayer games. For the most part, single players, it's hard for me to do because I don't have a lot of time. And there's nothing that I've heard. I mean, I'm more excited for the PlayStation ones like Phasmophobia, but we already have that. Not on the Quest, but on the PC. But I don't think there's anything very exciting coming on the Quest. At least not that I know of. But maybe, like I said, LSB is more up to date with all that shit. He loves his Quest. And I think it's cool. The Quest is cool. And I think all the fucking mixed reality stuff can be really cool. There's some dude that Decepticon shared a link that he was doing what I told you about. And I didn't think it was possible, but it is possible now. Like a scary game in your own house, right? Like fucking ghosts come at you, like kind of Phasmo type shit. So I'm excited for that. I hope that they keep doing that and we get, because people think that that's kind of lame, like the mixed reality, but
I do.
some of the stuff can be, because you think everything's not Sony is lame.
No,
but
that's not true.
if you really try, if you really try it, and if they make games like this, I think it'll be exciting. But other than that, I don't know. I don't think so.
LSB replied to you, said, too busy still playing the exclusives we got. What exclusive was on Quest 3? No, you must be talking about a Quest 2 title.
No, the fucking
Asgard's Wrath is on Quest 2
Yeah.
and Quest 3. It's not an exclusive. Don't lie to me. You think I don't know your
Yeah,
tricks?
whatever.
You think I don't know the Quest tricks? But the fact that he said he's too busy playing just tells me, there is nothing coming up for Quest. Dead platform. Elephant Trap says there were so many PSVR2 rumors that from Sony Studios, if even just half of those were true. I know. Brandon says MetaQuest Gaming Showcase usually March, I think. Okay, so we might see some stuff there. Maybe an update on GTA San Andreas.
Let's hope.
Nihilus Ryan says, what I'm saying is just because a game releases on Quest, it doesn't mean that every version of the game is going to look like the Quest version, especially if the devs are passionate about the game. Yeah, every time I complain about a game being released on Quest as well, everyone thinks I'm like, they jumped at the visuals. It's not the visuals that I'm worried about. It's the number of enemies on screen at once. It's the way the levels were designed to have to accommodate that old piece of shit hardware. Well, it's not a piece of shit. Listen, it's impressive tech, but it's mobile. It's like, imagine if every PS5 game had to be made with the Switch specs in mind. That's what we have to live through right now. That's why I don't like seeing Quest ports. Listen, I don't mind seeing some of them. I just don't like having to rely on them, having to live off them.
Or at least make them like upscaled to like perform better, like not just like a straight port, like enhance them for PlayStation VR2.
Yeah, significantly, because we know there's a lot more horsepower there that you can play with.
Yeah.
Brand says I wouldn't count a GTA anytime soon, but who knows? Elephant Trap says Meta lied about Asgard's Wrath 2. They only added some Quest 3 upgrades after people complained. There you go. Deceivers. Anyway, we move on to the next topic, which is a bit more positive.
Is it?
Before we go into another one that's depressing again. This next game has come out, which I didn't even know about, I don't think. It's called Beat the Beats. It's out now.
Oh, yeah.
It's basically Beat Saber, but you punch the blocks instead of slicing them with a sword. And it's $20. There you go.
$20.
I don't know what songs. I don't know anything about that. I don't know if there's like famous songs.
Did you get a description?
Barely. I was so uninterested in this. I was like, all right.
You did no research whatsoever. You just
so this-
this looking at like trash.
So this
Look
game
like
is for this game is for somebody that's sitting there like, all right, I really like the concept of playing Beat Saber, but I just really am against holding lightsabers in my hands, and I just can't do it.
Well, and it's weird because there's a
Like,
fuckload of
oh,
games
now I
like
can
this
just use my
already.
fist to punch. Okay, that's
It's
much
for
better.
people like Donnie. You know, people like Donnie are like, swords don't work in VR because you don't get the feedback. So now he can have this. He can use his
But
fists.
there's no games like this
No,
already? Or is
no.
it just on
But
the
that's where
Quest?
you're wrong. Lightsabers do work in VR. Lightsabers are the only swords.
Oh
that
yeah, because they
would work.
slice through everything with the
Yes,
okay, yeah, I didn't know
because
that.
because there wouldn't be nothing stopping your sword
Okay,
from cutting
I get-
through it.
Well, unless it's another lightsaber.
Right, but you just make it so you're just a badass and you don't
Okay,
fight
okay.
anyone else with a lightsaber.
All right. Jackpot, you were saying something there. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I
right,
said
good.
that I hate you.
Oh,
I said
damn.
that isn't there another game like this already, or is it just on the Quest? Like a workout game that's like a boxing game that is the same shit like this. It just looks, no offense, slightly better. Like
Isn't it like a
the
supernatural
level.
called? Is that what you're thinking of? Where it's like a fitness
There's and the
subscription
Quest.
thing?
There's like 50 of them.
Yeah,
but
well, there you go. So
I
how
don't
am I
know if on
supposed
the
to know?
PS. Well, I'm asking you on the VR. We have one because you're so obsessed with this.
Oh, on
fucking
PSVR 2,
console.
is there nothing? Is
Yes.
there another like this?
Yes,
Beat
is there
Saber.
anything
This is just
like
Beat
this?
Saber.
Yeah,
Pistol
but this
whip
is
kind
not.
of as
No.
well,
It is.
to a degree.
No,
But mostly
there's
Beat
nothing
Saber.
like
It's
this.
boxing.
Synth Riders.
It's
Synth
boxing Beat
Riders.
Saber.
Isn't it Synth Riders too?
Okay, so it's similar then to Synth Riders, Mary.
No, it's Beat Saber. This is basically
It's Beat Saber, but yes, it's like
but you're just
Synth Riders
punching.
is basically Beat Saber too.
Yeah, pretty
So
much.
I don't know what's this genre
There's not
called.
a
It
lot
probably
like
has its
this.
own like title now. Does it?
It's like a
Rhythm.
workout.
Rhythm-
Fucking
yeah, but
rhythm
it's-
workout.
Rhythm.
Rhythm blocks or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to call it.
Next topic.
Oh shit! Hasib says upload viewer said it's the best rhythm game since Beat Saber.
Damn.
there you
Is
go.
it really?
There you go.
$20?
Thank you, Hasib. $20 dues. There's too many rhythm games on PSVR 2. Oh, isn't there a drummer one? Like a Ragnarok or something where you're banging drums? I don't know if it's a rhythm game or not, but I think it's...
Yeah, but I think that was
something
very
like this.
indie, right?
You know how
Yeah,
you
But
know
this
how
is too.
freaking exhausted you're going to be playing this game. You expend so much more energy like throwing a punch than swinging your arm like a sword, like holding a sword.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
dude.
But that's part of the
Like-
appeal, like to, you want
Well,
to
yeah.
lose weight or whatever,
If
get
you
in
want
shape.
to, you want to be swimming and sweating.
These
your goggles.
are the games I
Yeah.
should be playing exclusively. But
I wonder if I wonder if they add because there's some games that they're kind of like this, like punching, but there's squads. So you have to squat in between fucking things, and those are fucking deadly.
Oh yeah, I can see like a red arrows coming and he seems to be dodging it. So like I
Yeah.
think there
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
lot of
it's,
movement going
dodging
on here.
mechanics.
it's deadly.
Nihilist Ryan says there's Drums Rock, Ragnarok, Synth Riders, Air Guitar Unplugged, and Fizz
Air Guitar.
XOR, etc. So there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. What the
They
bat
need
was
to.
what the bat
need-
was upload VR the game of the year though, Lamau says the same.
You're right. He's right. I forgot about that.
The great game that was What the Bash.
Not a
It's
bad
gonna
game.
be
Not a
successful.
bad game. I don't care what anyone says. It's decent. But,
Watching this, like how they should have like some kind of boxing training sim available, like on some headset for people
Yeah.
like to actually train in boxing, because like that
Proper
would
stuff,
like
yeah.
this. Yeah, this actually looks like it's like it could be like a
get like a
like-
famous
yeah.
trainer. It's like, hey, welcome to my
Yeah.
boxing game. I'm gonna show you the ropes. pal."
Mickey.
Like in the
Why is
90s,
it
those
Mickey?
workout VHS with those dudes. No, I think what it would have been cool is if we would have got that Creed game. Remember we had I think it's even on the VR too. But with multiplayer mode, remember, like we have a multiplayer mode that you play people, and then you have spectators that you can rotate on the fucking, whoever
Yeah.
loses goes and sits down. I think that would stuff like this. I don't know how expensive it is to add, but I think things like that would definitely bring a lot of people to games. But maybe it's just really hard, very expensive to add the multiplayer stuff to it.
I know. I just assumed Creed already did have a multiplayer part to it. No,
Well, they did, but it was just, you just play
just
against another
1v1,
dude.
1v1.
And I'm saying it would have been cool if there was like a tournament mode or
Oh,
something that
okay,
you
okay,
can have
okay.
like a lobby and in the bleachers or whatever you have 10 people just
standing
fucking
around the
looking
ring. Everyone's
Yeah.
standing
around
around the outside of the
and,
ring
and they
watching.
can yell at you and
You
say
could kind of
shit,
do that in
and then whoever
Spark,
loses,
couldn't you?
I'm saying.
Remember Spark? I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure you could
they had, like, a
you could
little
stand
spectator.
and watch and wait your turn or something. And I think I could. be
Yeah, I
wrong.
think you saw them as like giant faces up in the sky. Couldn't like they were like looking down at you. Like
yeah, you
from
were a
the-
small little dude in the audience watching these
Yeah.
giant guys go at it.
No, I think the spectators were the giant guys looking down at the people playing.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Oh, I can't remember. Okay,
Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe that was.
That's how I remember it anyway. I thought like I thought I like saw a clip of them playing, and then they look up, and then they see like the other people waiting, like looking down, like as they're playing.
It could be it. LSB says fuck Beat Saber. Nihilus says high quality games like Legendary Tales game is phenomenal. I need to play that game solo. I think co-op is actually kind of harming the game for me a little bit. SDS says, what's going on? My three amigos. How you doing, SDS? Nice to see you again. Okay, let's move on to some more bad news. I know you love to hear.
Before you do, I just want to say, like, I do think that you should try Legendary Tales just for a few hours by yourself, because you actually just have like quiet and time to think and like go through the menus and just like more understand the game, because it's when you're playing it online with us, like it's just so like everyone's talking and it's just kind of
fireball. That's
yeah, exactly. And I'm just like stealing all your kills, going
uppercutting people to the moon.
Yeah, it is cool though when you make them fly though. I do enjoy watching that.
I think if you, and as soon as you start like realizing like all the abilities you can get and try some of those out, it does get cool.
Yeah. I haven't given up. I have not given up on the game. So yeah, Supermassive Games. You like your Layoffs? We got some Layoffs over here too. 90 Layoffs this time. So if you don't know who Supermassive are, they're the ones behind Until Dawn, Rush of Blood. They did Switchback VR as well, which came out last year. But they're probably more famous for like, you know, the Until Dawn type games where, you know, the story kind of games. I'm not sure if they have a proper term for them, but they're like interactive movies where you know, choose the outcome. And there's like 20 different endings for every game. But they've been hit by layoffs. 90 people gone. So there you go. I don't know how big the studio is. I think they must be fairly big because they seem to be pumping out games. Like at a steady enough pace.
But I think they had like a good formula, because those games don't seem like they're not like Spider-Man kind of money to make, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not like they're probably like either breaking even or making a bit of a profit on how many people like want to jump on those games, because I don't think it's like
the most expensive. Like every game, they seem to hire like one B-list celebrity that probably is the most of their budget there. Like, and the rest
the one standout guy,
Hayden Pantier. Although fucking remember Rami Malek, he was in Until Dawn before he got massive in like Mr. Robot and all that shit.
And Queen, he played
Freddy.
Bohemian Rhapsody, that movie.
It's good. Studios are closing down, says Ace Diaz. Yeah, well, one studio is closing down, but you know what really surprised me is that Media Molecule didn't get shut down as well today. Although they were already hit, and at that time they basically shut down Dreams in a way. I'm pretty sure like half this team left, like at least the founders and stuff, they all seemed to abandon ship at the time, so they've already been hit with layoffs, kind of. So maybe Sony are like, well, we better leave them alone for now. But yeah, they survived.
Like, I'm assuming that out of the 90 people that lost their jobs, that was probably some of the VR.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The VR crew, because like they shot themselves in the foot right off the bat with their last game, like
with Switchback.
Yeah, like they got off to a really bad start. No one bought it.
Rough, yeah.
Even though it's good now, like it's too late. Like it's like they already lost all those sales from all the people hearing it was bad, and that was it.
I think the game director of this, I can't remember his name. He's a Spanish dude. It's like a Spanish sounding name, but he put out tweets saying, "I don't know if my job is safe," and he's like game director of this, so he was like fairly high up. But if he's not safe, then God knows about all the team that was under him.
Yeah,
like, you're probably right that it probably was that team that got the brunt of it.
More than likely, because I don't think they were happy with how the sales were for that game.
No, well, they didn't have the full phased rendering, the dynamic. Like this is like a lot of people were saying this is a game that looked like it could have run on a PSVR1. That was kind of the consensus.
Oh, it was. Yeah, once they actually got it up to where it should have been, it was fine, but it was way too late, and the window passed for like the hype for it.
But if you remember,
kind of moved on to other games.
If you remember the Impatient and Bravo team, like when they came out and they kind of flopped, like a big reason behind that, which came out afterwards, is that like, you know, they're really badly mismanaged. Like staff were taken away from one project and thrown on a different one, so that they didn't have enough people working on things. And maybe this is what happened with Switchback as well. I don't know. Who knows if they've improved since then. Important says notice that if you make really quality games, business is booming. Example: Saints and Sinners.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was trying to think off the top of my head what's a really good game where it's still kind of flopped anyway.
And you can't. Because
I'm
you're
not,
wrong.
well, I'm not
And he's right.
I need to think about it. You know. Dreams.
There you go.
Nope.
There you go. No. I know the studio didn't close, but they got hit hard and the game got cancelled practically, and you know.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, the game basically was taken down. So.
Chairface says Sony London made Blood and Truth and they got cancelled. Yeah, Blood and Truth is a really good game.
Yeah.
A lot of people weren't happy with the way you moved around, but listen, you were using move controllers. It wasn't their fault that they didn't have sticks on them things.
It was a good game. I like it.
It was. Elephant Trap says London Studio was now making a non-VR live service fantasy RPG game. Yes, which I wasn't looking forward to at all, unless they did add virtual reality support down the line, which they could have. But we'll never know. But my hope for them was that their next game would have been Blood and Truth 2 after this, live service game. Anyway, enough bad news for now. How about some good news? Some real good news, because Breachers finally got a new Team Deathmatch map released for free. Well, there you go. It's on the trailer as you see. So you probably already know this, but if you play Team Deathmatch and Breachers right now, there's only one map in rotation. But now they finally add another one. It's called Outpost, as you can see. Actually, no, you can't see because I seem to have uploaded the wrong trailer.
Oh my god.
Just relax.
Oh my god.
Just relax. I'll fix it.
Jesus.
Breachers launch trailer. No. I got the wrong trailer.
Be careful not
I
to put some of your weird
launch
stuff.
trailer, my weird stuff. Breachers Outpost trailer. That's what I wanted. I wanted. Sorry about that. There you go. So you can see it's actually kind of similar to the one that's there in a way, because it's still like a training area, but they've done it up in a way that's like cardboard trees and shit. Like it's mimicking an outdoor area.
Yeah. That's cool.
They got a little quote here as well to go along with it. It says, aside from the new map, we've also added a new weapon HUD and wrist HUD for Team Deathmatch as a whole, which I don't really understand. Like, does that mean it's not included in the other modes? Is it just a HUD specifically for Team Deathmatch?
Probably.
Maybe it shows like the team scores or something on your wrist.
Maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Or your kill count, like how your KD ratio or something.
Maybe. But anyway, new map looks pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to trying this out. It's nice to have you can rotate to different maps now in Team Deathmatch.
Now, where's the Pavlov game? Get those ones.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Breachers to get a map before Pavlov. Did we even know this was coming?
I didn't.
This is a surprise to me.
So.
I don't think they said anything about this.
Yeah, just drop
Maybe
it.
in their Discord they did, but
Yeah.
Well,
but we definitely needed another team deathmatch fucking map, because just one is not.
Even two.
And it's good. The map we have is good. Well, yeah, of course, but we're getting there. They got the Sony money now.
I'm still just confused as to why they just don't make it open to choose the other maps if you want to.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
To play, because they're there. Why can't you just even if they're not technically designed good for Team
I'm assuming
Deathmatch,
that's probably why, because they think that it's gonna risk the player base. Oh, this shit sucks because it doesn't play right. So they're probably.
But then that's why it's an option. You vote on the maps. You don't. It's not like they're gonna force you to play them, but make it an option for people that do want to. It's.
Or what if they even
cut out versions
of
them,
take sections? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They do that in other games, like Battlefield will take out a team deathmatch map for a small section of a map or whatever and make it work.
Yeah.
Add a few props or whatever to make it more balanced, whatever you have to do. But yeah, it's out now for free. Go get it.
Good game. Buy the game. Good game.
Yeah, the capture the zone mode. That's already kind of like a team deathmatch. So why don't they just have that and just get rid of the zones and then it's team deathmatch? Is I don't know.
Yeah, because they have a fuckload of maps,
confusing.
so they can.
It's confusing why it's just not
because
there.
the maps are not symmetrical. So if you keep spawning them, probably one side is more advantageous and more defendable than the other side, or something. So.
All right. Well, let us play it and.
Oh no, I agree. I agree.
Ourselves.
I'm just guessing that's the reason. The only other reason I can think of is because of lore accuracy. Because if you notice these team deathmatch maps, they've got the training ground theme shoot house thing going on. Anyway, that would be a stupid reason. Next game then is or the next topic, is a bit of a strange one. You might have heard of this game called Train Chase, which is out
Yeah, it's
now.
weird.
Yes.
It's like a $7 super low budget game that was developed by one man. And the
Was
reason
the game that Frank made a video that he said that the developers said that the game kind of sucks.
yes,
Yeah, a bunch of people were saying that.
that's I wouldn't have probably brought this up if it wasn't for this. Like he made a Reddit post where he was like,
Right.
"Yeah, this game is bad, but here's why I made it." So it was kind of a strange, unusual thing for a developer to do.
Yeah.
Basically, he gave a summary of like his whole game development career up until now, like the things he's been making, and people kind of responded positively to what he was saying, even though he was saying the game was bad, mostly because they're like, "Oh, you're honest, so I'm going to support you."
I was gonna say maybe this is like the smartest tactic that the guy could have ever done, because like
Nobody would have bought it.
it's like he has nothing to lose, right? Like he's
Yeah.
making this like cheap little game that no one would have heard about,
Yeah,
and because he makes a statement like this, suddenly
Yes.
everybody's like talking about it.
everyone's talking.
So
about
it's just
us.
like, yeah. So like maybe people will buy it just to see how bad it is, and then he's making money.
Yeah, I haven't looked up any reviews or whatever, but just looking at the trailer here, it does seem very basic. You're on top of a train. You've got your dual
Yeah.
wielding handguns.
Very
that seem to be
simple.
shooting out like blue balls.
Yeah.
You're shooting drones or whatever. Like maybe there's, is it
Paintballs.
maybe there's entertainment to be had here, but I don't know. I don't think I'd buy it. I don't know if I agree with the people like, oh, he's honest, so I'm going to support him. It's like, okay, he's honest,
Yeah,
fair
I think
enough.
they just
Why?
want to do it because of that. And I don't think this is like it might have been a strategy of him, but I think it's just like, he likes making games. He has a chance of putting one of his games that he knows is trash on the PlayStation store, so that's
Yeah.
probably more of an achievement for him. And if he ends up getting some money, then that's cool. But maybe he did plan it as a strategy but more people are like Mo says, hey, I like that this guy's honest. Let me, give him $5, $10, $7 or whatever, just
Yeah, but
because of
just for me personally, my takeaway from his post is like, this is a bad game, and I don't want
But
to
I
buy
don't
it.
like
Yeah, me neither.
And maybe it's not a bad
watching-
game, but just by his
but what-
words.
just watching the trailer that's playing right here. Like it looks perfectly playable. Like it doesn't
No,
look
it's not
like
broken.
yeah. So
yeah, no,
like
it's just probably
it's not that the
repetitive,
game's
boring.
broken. Yeah, but like it's probably just repetitive, boring. But like the functionality of it looks like it's playing just fine. So like if you just
Mhm.
want to play like a cheap little rail shooter, then
Yeah.
why not? It's just,
Viewer MX says, please buy my VR shovelware that Meta won't allow in their store, PSVR fanboys. Is that true that they won't allow us in their store?
I
wonder
don't know,
why.
maybe.
I don't know.
Do they have stricter rules than Sony when it comes to this? Because I know the Legendary Tales fellas can't get that game on Quest either for whatever reason.
I cannot for the life of me understand how these things work in terms of like what goes where and what's not allowed here and what's not allowed there. It just doesn't make sense to me. I can't.
Yeah, it's all broken. I don't know.
I've heard like
It's
suspicion,
a
like
mess.
okay, for this thing maybe Quest are like it's not up to our standards, it's not good enough. But for Legendary Tales, it's like a full game there. Some people are like, oh, this is too similar to this other game that they have on Quest, which is first party or whatever, and they don't want it to compete with that or something. But that could be conspiracy theory territory.
yeah.
Maybe.
It's like angry video game nerd play bad games for fun, says LSB. Coming summer 2024. Pile of shit says important. But yeah, listen, I hope, like, I don't wish him bad or anything. It's just that
No.
I'm
It's an odd
mostly
thing.
confused about the people in the comments saying this guy's honest. I want to support him.
Because they wanna they feel they like, yeah, I like this guy, and they wanna spend their money. But I don't want to.
Yeah, but it's like if this guy, he's basically saying I released a game that I think is bad, which I don't think a developer should do. Like you shouldn't.
There was bravo. All right, let's buy it.
Well,
like,
what is he
if
gonna?
a
What is he
criminal
gonna?
comes
What is he
up to
gonna
you-
do?
If a criminal comes up to you and
But
says
it's
I'm
not
going
about
to steal
that.
your money, would you be like,
But
you
you're
know
looking
what?
at it in a
You know what?
bad
You're
way.
honest. Here, have my $7.
No. But it's like this dude. I think mainly he wanted a game because he makes video games. He's starting making
make
video
it.
games.
Yeah, but why you got to sell it to
Right,
people?
and he-
Make it for free. Make it a 2-cent game.
I don't.
$1
Boy,
game.
what do you mean? Because the dude has to eat, motherfucker. What do you
No, he's not
mean?
going to survive
spends
off
time
this. This
doing
isn't. This is the
No.
livelihood. This is a side project.
But okay, right, exactly. But money is money, dude. If it's fucking $20, $50 that he gets, $1,000 that he gets just for making this, it's still money. So I just think that it was. Of course, he needs to make money, but I don't think he. I think it was more to get the game on the store because it's an achievement to have your fucking game in the fucking PlayStation so that people can buy. That'll be, in my
Yeah,
opinion, it's
listen, I
not
get
an
that.
amazing game.
I get that.
Right, so that's probably why he
But it's
put it,
at
and he's
our-
like, "Hey, don't worry about it." What is he gonna say? Hey, buy my game? No, maybe like Muzz says, it makes more sense that he talks about it. He's like, "Hey," instead of me talking about like, "Hey, you see my train game? It's fucking awesome." He's like, "Hey, just let you know, yeah, my game sucks." You know, I know that people are like, "Hey, at least we're talking about it." I know we fucking know, but people are talking about it, people are buying the game. I feel more because of that response. So I don't see anything wrong with it in that
just
sense
think
because he's on the game is shit apparently. If the game was really good or something, or if it was like a huge budget and they depend on all this money, then of course they want to be quiet and they want to zip things out and not say anything so we can get bamboozled like most games. But I don't know. I don't think there's anything
I
wrong
just
with
think
him saying, being honest.
as a game developer, I don't think you should ever release a game, sell it to people, if you yourself don't believe it's good. You know, if he believes it's a good game and it's worth $7, then by all means. But if he himself doesn't think it's worth that, if he thinks it's a bad game, I just take a little bit of issue with that.
Well, it's a bad game. That's why it's $7.
He's like everyone has to start somewhere, obviously, and like if this is his first game, then like it's honestly more than I could ever do. But I mean, like it is weird. Like why would you say, yeah, my game's garbage?
Like if you believe in it, then fine. I'm happy if he believes in it and he thinks it's a good game and he has fun with this, then that's fine. But if he's like, you know what, you're probably not going to like this.
I don't know. Who knows?
So he wouldn't release it then? You wouldn't release it if the game is fucking trash then? If you don't believe in your game?
I don't think so, no. Because then it's like, well, I'm admitting that I'm going to trick... Because how many people aren't going to read his post on Reddit?
But I don't think it's about tricking people.
I'm not saying he's trying to trick. I'm not saying he's trying to trick. I'm just saying in general, like you should... Well, actually, yeah, it kind of is like tricking, actually. Because if you yourself thinks it's bad, well, and you're not forced to release this, you could wait. You could work on this a few more months, instead of selling it for $7.
But how much better can this thing get? I mean, let's be honest.
Listen, to a point where you're comfortable selling it, to the point where you think it's worth the money you're asking for.
Well, how do you know he doesn't think his money is
worth
that $7?
Because he's putting up a post saying you're probably going to not like it. So that's the reason why.
Okay, that's why it's $7. Otherwise,
that's why. That's why it could just be a clever. Maybe it's just a clever play of like.
There you go. Yeah, it could be. It could be.
That's my theory anyway. I might be wrong, but that's what I think. But like, and at the same time, like it's a $5 game, and people like as long as the game's not broken and actually plays like how it's playing on the video here, then like people can do what they want with their money. Like it's not like you can probably see this video playing when you go into the store and you click on it to buy it, and if you want to preview a video and see what it looks like, and if you're watching this video and you think, all right, I can try this for $5, then.
But it's not the $5 or it's not the video. Sorry, it's not the trailer that makes me think it's not worth $5. It's literally just his post where he says it's bad.
But that's why that's why it's not a $15, $20 game.
Doesn't matter.
Otherwise, it'd be like, hey,
it just means he's not tricking you out of 20. He's only tricking you out of 5.
No, because a game can be... Dude, you got tricked out of $70 for Horizon Call the Mountain.
It's a great game.
Listen.
Game of the year.
No, it doesn't
game
matter.
Of the year
what I'm saying is... So what, if the game was shit, what is it, $1? What's the amount that it's correct for this game, apparently?
It depends on what the developer believes. If the developer believes it's shit.
$7 you dumb fuck.
No,
that's
he's not justifying the price. Not once he say this game is only... Like, because he could have put it for $5.
Next topic.
Next
maybe
topic.
That's
next topic is fucking right.
This is a strategy, Let's go buy the game.
We're just following. We're following into his trap right now too. We're just following into it.
Human interest. We're
talking
about
his game.
Brandon says, "Does he make video games or partial games?" Donnie says, "I've been speaking to the dev of this all day, and he knows how to make games. But as far as getting them to the distribution part, he hasn't known that aspect and needs to move forward. So it was a learning experience for him to keep at this since it's a passion of his." So the reason he released it was to learn how to release it. Is that what you're saying? And the next
learn how this. Yeah, that's kind of
the process. Yeah, I don't know. And the next says, to be honest, it doesn't look any worse. No, I don't want to. To be honest, it doesn't look any worse than crap like Cactus Cowboy or other stellar PSVR releases. Cactus Cowboy, though, had like a charm to it, It also didn't have the developer being like, this game's probably shit. You're probably not going to like it.
Yeah, true.
Donnie says his idea of bad is knowing it's not AAA and most won't want to play with the atmosphere of VR currently. I mean, yeah, listen, it's hard to interpret exactly his meaning just from the Reddit post. Like, maybe he meant something different to how I interpreted it. Maybe he does think it's enjoyable himself, but he worded it in a way that was like, just because I like it doesn't mean you will, or something like that, Maybe that was his intention. Can you even go to McDonald's for $7? Isn't there a dollar menu or something over there?
Not anymore.
It's gone?
Dollar menu is gone.
It's gone. It's over.
Those were the good days.
Next topic. Next topic is the 1 year anniversary, which you didn't really get to cover. Yes, I mean, we've talked a little bit about some of the games, but basically 1 year anniversary came and we got, surprise, surprise, another blog post. No state of play, no big fanfare, just another blog post from Sony where they announced several little things, which we'll go into one by one. So the first thing they announced was the Wizards Dark Times Brotherhood, and they said it was out now, so that was like last week. So it is out now. Shadow dropped. Early impressions seem to be mixed. The only thing I saw was like a bit of GT's video on it. It's got 3-player co-op, and I don't really know anything else about it, to be honest.
Yeah, the co-op is the only thing that really draws interest for me. But I mean, I already have Legendary Tales, so like I don't know if I need 2 of these type of games right now at the same time. But
I mean, it's the same shit as Goblins. Is it like what's the difference?
Well, I think Legendary Tales is more big RPG. This one is more linear, kind of.
Yeah, but this one looks like it has, I don't know.
This is more production value in this, 100%.
Yeah, better graphics. Yeah, like it looks like a little more money went into this game.
Plus, you got they've got their unique kind of gesture-based system where if you move your hand a certain way, you'll bring up a certain spell or whatever. So, like, make a fireball if you like jerk yourself off for a little bit and a fireball comes out, or whatever. Depends on how you move your hands. But that's the big selling point.
I'll get fireballs real quick.
Sure was spamming them out constantly. Muzz, how did you learn how to do that? And you're just like, do what? Oh, I'm still wearing this. I'm still wearing this headset. But yeah, out now if you're interested. I think this game was already on other headsets. Like this is kind of like a remaster type or enhanced edition kind of a thing going on. But anyway.
What's the price on that one? Did anyone check to see what the price is?
No, I didn't. I was hoping you weren't going to ask me that because I was just thinking to myself, fuck, how much is this game? It's like, this is one thing I should have looked up.
I want to see I want to see how much less it is than Legendary Tales. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, it's going to be less than that.
100%.
Legendary Tales is expensive.
The Wizards. What's the name of it again? Dark Times?
Dark Times
Brotherhood, there we go. Trying to get who's the PlayStation's work? You keep them talking, all right?
Go ahead, Jackbot. We're both looking.
Tell them about your Dell work.
So it is $33.49 Canadian.
Shit.
Why don't you shake that?
Baby,
a lot cheaper.
And I'll reward you with some blades of grass.
You got more
Mark
donations?
Donated 10
Yeah.
from Super Chat.
Mark,
that's very moist.
with the $10
$10 from Mark.
Just FYI, Mac, we don't get any of this.
No
all right, it all goes to him. So maybe lower those
This is the
those
type of
amounts.
release Sony needs to push. Not
bad.
hearing anything
So
about it in the
sad.
1 year blog sucks.
He's the only one with kids to feed, so.
Yeah.
See,
fair.
Muzz is being reasonable. Let me read that out because we were all talking over it. Sorry, Mark. Thank you once again for the succulent $10 dues. He says Aces of Thunder is exclusive, I believe. No marketing push by Sony except a trailer 1 year ago. This is the type of release Sony needs to push. Not hearing anything about it in the 1 year blog sucks. 100% agree. That's one of our most anticipated PSVR 2 titles.
Yep.
And they're
which I'm worried about. And now that you brought me, I was like, oh, I'm excited. And then my stomach just like dropped a little bit because of the, hopefully it's not just 1v1 online because we haven't seen anything.
Remember,
You know what, at this point-
confirmed that's like 4v4? Did we get that confirmation somewhere? No?
Nope, nobody confirmed shit.
No?
I think at this point we all just need to like come to the realization, and we just got to enjoy VR that we get, and realize that the rest of the world just has to eventually catch up with us one day. and start being real gamers like we are and play VR.
We'll be old men.
You know, well, however long it takes, it'll get there. But it's going to take a while because all those poor little, my tummy's upset people.
These poor little my tummy's upset people.
Yep. All those people.
The Wizards Dark
All
Time
those people
Brotherhood is €25, which is $25 as well. So there you go. It's half the price of Legendary Tales.
Yep.
Sorry to talk over you, but it was really annoying me having to look for that for so long. Importance is
So,
sorry.
do you think it would have been a bit like if this game came out at the same time as Legendary Tales? Do you think you would have went for this one?
No.
Instead of
the
Legendary
big
Tales?
the big selling point for me for Legendary Tales was like the physics-based combat. Whereas
So this doesn't have near as good as physics.
Doesn't seem
Like,
to.
you can't like
Doesn't seem to. Seems
No,
to be like more
no.
that generic kind of just
magic kind of
hack
like
and slash, and
like,
yeah, mostly magic.
just swipe through
Yeah.
through the enemies.
Got
And
bow
just-
and arrow combat, which is obviously good in every game,
Yeah.
kind of, but they're not really showing any, like you can't pick up a fucking dude and slam him through a table. You know, that was the real selling point for me for Legendary Tales, and I never get to do it.
No, you like the punching the guy rapidly in the face. That's
Yeah.
what you liked.
Yeah. Anyway, Suki says, unless it's a Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon, Last of Us, etc., Sony will act like it doesn't exist. They push games everyone will buy anyway and ignore the ones people don't know exist. That's a good point as well.
Yeah, but then why do they choose the games that they do and those stupid little like sizzle reels for VR? Because like those aren't like it's like they don't. I don't know who's in charge of putting those together, like the little videos of montage of like 4 or 5 different games that they play. But it's just like some guys like sitting in a room and just like throwing a dart and like whatever it lands on.
Well, I think
put that game.
the most recent one they did, like there was kind of a reasoning to it that was understandable. Like for example, Ghostbusters not the greatest game, but a very recognizable IP, so you can understand why they put that in. Plus, Sony actually owns that IP.
But they always go with that one. How many of these like little VR like buy VR things have they put out? And it's almost like how many of them have the Ghostbusters? Like Ghostbusters is always in them.
I think maybe
Everyone.
2.
But what else are they gonna put?
I don't think that.
But remember they did that like kind of live action one where it was like teased like 3 or 4 different games, and we're like, oh, what's this sci-fi one? Is this Returnal or whatever? And it's like, what does this one represent?
Right.
One of them was like Resident Evil. The other one was Horizon, which was already out. Like,
Right. What was that? What was that space
We
one?
don't know.
We never even found that out. I totally forgot about that.
It's cancelled.
Yeah, that's probably a canceled project.
Don't worry about
Close
it.
the studio too.
Close the studio down. It's cancelled.
I totally forgot about that. That like weird.
So I
like,
think
out of space.
some people suspect it's that Concord game, which is supposedly coming out for PS5 this year.
What I thought it was like because I never played it. I never played Wanderer, so like when I first saw it, I thought it was like a part of the because I know Wanderer, you're jumping back and forth between all these different characters at different times. So I thought maybe like that was like an astronaut part of it, like where you jump into an astronaut and you're out in space for like a mission or something.
I think a lot of people were hopeful it was Farpoint 2 as well.
Well, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
But, somebody pointed out to me today that Impulse Gear haven't communicated with anyone for 2 years now. Like there's been no tweets from them, no posts on any. Like they made that Larcenauts game, which kind of flopped, and then they just went completely silent. So there you go.
That's shitty.
Bit more depression for you there. Mark
Says,
and now they're gone, and no one knows where they are. And
Mark says, "Don't get Wizards. It has low resolution, and the multiplayer. Is basically Horde. Not much to it. Okay, so when they say 3-player co-op, it makes it sound like it's the campaign, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's tricky. I don't like when they do that. Be clear with that.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling that out, Mark.
Yeah,
That's very
Mark
useful.
saved us again. I wasn't going to get it anyway, but
No, I wasn't either. Some people
else.
might have. Some people might have thinking that they could go through the campaign with a friend or two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing they showed off in the blog post was the Wanderer Fragments of Face. Is that what it's called? I can't remember what it's called. It's got like a subtitle.
Good reviews, right? Good reviews.
Oh, everyone loves this game.
So this game was like big on PSVR 1. Well, not big, but like popular on PSVR 1. Like critically, it did very well.
Yeah.
But if you compare this footage now to what was on PSVR 1, like they've really overhauled the visuals. Like it's like the character models look completely different. They've put like loads of work into it.
They added more game mechanics because of the controllers now, and like they went like way above and beyond with like the remake here. And I think I think you would call it a remake, not a port. Like I think it's that
interesting. Okay, yeah, maybe because I'm not too familiar with the original. That came out at the end of the PSVR 1 life cycle, and I was kind of like counting on a PSVR 2 port to happen, and then I tried it out then, and luckily it's kind of panned out that way. But if you watch at the very end of this trailer, another big announcement, which kind of surprised me, like why wasn't it? It should have been a title in the blog, if you know what I mean, but it's hidden at the end of this trailer. The sequel, Wanderer 2, is confirmed. Fortune, what's it called? Seas of Fortune. Yeah. But anyway, the big news about this is that it's coming out on the 27th of June. So finally got a release date. So this is kind of one of the biggest ones we have to look forward to this year in terms of like. Because
in this video, like all this traversal that's going on right now, like how did you do that with the Move controllers? Like was it just like did they do the like pointing the Move controller like where you want to walk, that kind of style?
Maybe Skyrim. So I don't know because I never played.
Yeah,
I didn't look into it.
Yeah, I didn't either. So it's that's why I think like the controls like must have been like totally revamped because of the joysticks now that they can use. Like,
yeah, I mean, like games like Skyrim did find ways around it, where it was like it was horrific. You point there and then you press the move button to walk, and press the circle button to reverse or some shit like that. You felt like a
no. When you wanted to walk backwards, you just had like you pointed backwards.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you walk backwards and then you go forward. It's
been
so
a few
awkward.
years. It's been a few years since I played it.
It's been a little bit.
But at the time, I remember like, cool, I'm playing Skyrim. I didn't care at the time, so it's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
What you can put up with. Wanderer is just a remake of the first with a few extras, says Donnie. But for me and Muzz and maybe other people like us, we've never played it before, so I'm really excited to do Wanderer.
Yeah, and we'll get better visuals and better controls.
Mm-hmm. Mark says all of the games in the blog will be on PC, VR, and Quest. Why none of it hyped me? That's kind of why I'm hyped for this one because it feels like they did put the extra effort in for PSVR 2 at least. But like when we get to Zombie Army, for example,
that's
get the luck of Quest office. Go on.
Like the Zombie Army, like you're gonna say, like we've done zombies so many times. The thing about Wanderer, this game just looks unique. Like there's like not like the style and the premise of this game, like it's like a different game that I haven't played yet. That's why I'm excited to play.
Okay. Like something like an Uncharted kind of a feel to some of these scenes as well.
Well,
Anyway, Magnum, how you doing? Says I have a feeling we will see some indoor corridor Helldiver 2 maps. Right now, everything's outdoors. So is he watching the beginning of the stream? I think he's probably watching the beginning. Of the stream.
Who was doing that the other day?
I can't remember who it was, but somebody else was. Oh, was it Brannon? Might have been Brannon. Banana.
Let's not forget about Metro. Metro's coming out too. That game's going to be great.
But then that's another game that's coming to Quest as well. These things tamper my expectations. I know they shouldn't, but they do.
So you're worried that the Metro is going to be like the Quest version, basically brought to PlayStation.
Kind of. I'm sure the PS4 2 version will look better, like higher resolution, maybe dynamic phase render or whatever. But
the size and scope of the game.
You're just looking at it
the
the wrong
scope.
way. You're looking at it the wrong way because every time
this is science.
Listen. I understand, and you're right. Yes, of course, it's going to
Thank you.
lower the fucking expectations of some of the games, not because of the graphics, yes, because of the mechanics, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But you're looking at that one instead of looking at hey, if it wasn't for the Quest and all that, we wouldn't fucking have a lot of these games.
No, I agree as well. It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. You know,
Yeah.
In some ways, I like the Quest because it's keeping VR alive. In other ways, I hate it because it's holding the PSVR 2 back. So, you know, it's like I have mixed feelings about it, you know. Anyway. Mark says, why I redirect back to Aces of Thunder, that is exclusive and that should have been mentioned. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
It looks really fucking good as well. Maybe they just weren't ready to show more off, even though they're in like testing phases, so they should have more by now, but I don't know. Like if they just showed like pure gameplay of like a little match going on for like a 2-minute gameplay clip of just straight gameplay of some dudes shooting other dudes, I would have been happy with that.
Just let us know how many players, how many multiplayer can we do, and then
how many modes
we care about.
What about modes as well? Let me know what kind of modes we got.
Nah, I mean, that'd be cool.
This is Aces of Thunder you're talking about?
Yeah, Aces of Thunder.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. 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 So much we still don't know about that game. It's kind of weird.
Oh, Donnie brought up a point there. Says Metro is available for wishlisting now. He got the notification
nice.
for it today, so there you go. You can show your interest.
Nice.
I think they do appreciate it when you do wishlist games. Like
I will definitely wishlist that.
it benefits them somehow. Lets Sony know that people want it, I guess. So the next thing they showed off was Little Cities Bigger, which is a port of Little Cities that includes like 18 months worth of DLC updates and stuff like that, or maybe 12 months, I don't know. Either way, not interested. Coming out March 12th, by the way. I'm sure it's a good game.
I heard it's not too bad for people that like this type of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
there's
not
an
my
audience for this
genre.
kind of thing. Me neither.
Yeah. If you're into like your Sim Cities and whatever, then this is the game for you. But for me, no thank you. And then this next one then was kind of like the headline act, which I was interested in at first, but then I saw the footage and I was like, I lost my interest in this a little bit. Zombie Army VR, which is a very generic title, even Zombie Army, and you got this gameplay clip here. It does have 2-player co-op though, which kind of was like, kind of made me wonder if it was going to be like Killing Floor Incursion kind of a look or feel to it. It's by Rebellion, and it's coming 2024. It's also coming to Quest, like we said already, which has kind of deflated me a little bit too on it. And I don't actually know if this is built ground up for VR, or if this is like one of the Zombie Army flat games ported to VR. So, because I've never played them, so I don't know. And
I don't either, but by the looks of it, I would say this is like a ground up.
Oh boy,
Superfly, Superfly.
You're gonna be listening to
He hates the zombie army. He's like,
I'm sorry, Superfly. I gotta skip through these, Superfly. Forgive me, Superfly. I'm sorry.
Watch Macho Man for 10 minutes here.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. He doesn't.
Okay, I got them all. Thank you very much, Superfly, for the succulent 10 membership gifts. I don't know who got them.
Remember, we don't get
Mark
anything.
Smith got one.
I don't
There
know
you go.
where
Mark
you guys
Smith
are.
got one. See, Mark Smith gave me
Why you
super
guys are
chats, and
donating so much?
he has been repaid.
There you go.
The gods have rewarded
Hey,
him.
nice. Is he a member now? There you go.
He is. But once again,
Solid
Mark
Justice. You got one.
and Superfly, thank you very much for them sucking.
God, I need to cancel my membership. That way, hopefully, I can get one of these.
He says, "I hate you all for skipping." I'm sorry.
I
shit.
told you. I told you.
Oh, good. I thought he did it again, but it was like he used the super chat kind of comment thing.
Oh.
He's laughing face, but thank you once again.
Told him not to skip. Super fine.
Suki says Zombie Army is an offshoot of Sniper Elite. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that they were in like well, they're probably not the same universe, but like like an alternate reality or some shit. James Bales, if I'm reading that right, says, "Hi all, first time viewer, give Bioshock series for VR. I'd love Bioshock in VR.
Oh, hell yeah.
Especially the first one.
That'll be a popular one.
Would you kindly release it for PSVR2? Durban Brown says, why even bias? They are just going to skip. I'm sorry, but I need to at least put some variety into them or something, because I can't listen to "Will you marry me" for like 20 times in a row.
At least let it play for 5 times,
I'm sorry. Okay. There we go. Just playing this one out once. There you go. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the best one.
Warren says Nick G gets free subs all the time. Why not me? It's the same people. It's the same people. Jimmy Nuisance, he gets one again. I don't know why it's the same people. Some of these people aren't even subscribed. Some of these people are not subscribed to the channel and they get these gift subs. I don't understand how it works. Superfly, you did miss the Twisted Metal part, but basically Fire Sprite were working on a Twisted Metal game, and according to Jason Schreier, who was like a Bloomberg journalist, and he's kind of well connected, they cancelled it. But he said it was in early stages.
We don't know if it was VR or flat though. Like,
we don't.
about that.
But it was being made by Fire Sprite, and they made Horizon Call of the Mountain. They made The Persistence, so they've got like a track record of PSVR games.
Yeah.
If anything, it might have been a hybrid. Maybe.
Yeah, hybrid would be the smart move. I miss
But
old
like,
school
why would they?
Restless Magnum.
Why would they cancel a Twisted Metal game? Because I thought the show was doing so good.
Maybe
That's
just development
confusing.
was just troubled or something. I don't know. Like
Yeah, maybe cost too much.
maybe
cost
maybe
going
they'll
in.
move it to a different studio or something. Like I mean, that's the best we can hope
We'll
for.
see. Yeah, maybe.
Suki says on live service Twisted Metal wouldn't help us. We need a hybrid Twisted Metal that's flat and VR, not some crap live service game. Do you know Gran Turismo 7 is a live service game, Suki? Like live service doesn't mean that it's, you know, well, I don't know what you think it means, but I don't think it means whatever you think it means.
You know nothing.
Live service. He's thinking live service in terms of like Destiny
Or
and
like Fortnite or something like that. But those can work in VR. I don't see why that's a bad thing for PSVR 2. Like a live service Twisted Metal would have been like feasible, I think. Mr. Tortoise says some accounts are ineligible for subs. Check your own account. It has to have some weird settings on to accept gifts, which is off by default. There you go. I did not know that, Mr. Tortoise. That's some valuable information. But the miniseries is still on. Yeah, season 2 of Twisted Metal is, I think, are they recording it now or in production or something? It's definitely
I
happening.
don't know.
anyway.
I haven't watched.
Yeah, I need to watch the first season. I need to find it somewhere. Tsuki says they are cancelling a lot of live service games. They said they are pulling back from live service games, so this makes sense. Yeah, I guess they did. But still, if it's a potential PSVR 2 game that we don't see, it's still painful. So moving on from Zombie Army VR. I feel like I should say more about this. Just not. I don't know why I'm not hyped for it, but I'm just not. Maybe if I see another trailer, maybe they show more gameplay. But right now, it just looks very bleak, grey, zombies. Been there.
and
done
how
that.
and how deep is this game? Like, is it just like run around killing zombies? What kind of story is it? How long is it?
Yeah,
yeah,
it might be a full big campaign that might change things, but wait and see. Wait and see. Because the sniper elite games.
I
is
haven't
good.
played Arizona Sunshine yet, so I'd be more interested in playing Arizona Sunshine over what I'm seeing in this game.
Well, speaking of Arizona Sunshine mods,
Hey!
oh wait, that's the wrong game.
Oh no!
The next one will be.
I set you up for it.
I was like, I got it. Oh shit, I don't have it. Oh, I did the copy and paste and it ruined the trailer thing. Oh fuck.
Oh no!
Oh my god.
Just relax, okay?
Oh,
Let
no.
me just.
I'm relaxed. I'm relaxed. You're just falling apart.
Just pretend.
Every
Just
stream.
pretend there's a trailer of Arizona Sunshine playing, okay? Anyway, Arizona Sunshine was the next thing they talked about in the blog post, and basically they talked about DLC. So one of the DLCs, which they shadow dropped straight away, was a skin for the dog, which is a corgi.
Yeah,
There you
corgis
go.
are awesome.
Nice.
And
That's
then
nice.
the other thing they announced is that the Horde mode is getting 3 maps, one every month from March to May, and they'll all be free. So it's Trailer Park, Undead Valley, and Old Mines. So there you go.
All right.
You know, I think people wanted the Horde mode expanded, and it looks like that's what they're doing. Didn't set the world on fire or whatever, but there you go. If you're Arizona Sunshine
Good
fan,
job.
good news. Okay, so then the next thing they talked about, in terms of games, it was the last thing they talked about, was Soul Covenant. They didn't show a trailer or anything, they just showed more screenshots, but I'm playing a trailer here. Basically, anime JRPG thing, which we already knew about it. I think the only thing they said is that it's coming this year. Is that the news? You can use
No
dead
thanks.
allies as weapons, and it sounds like, from what I read, that there might be 4-player co-op. But they didn't specifically say that, so I'm not too sure.
I think I heard 4 players somewhere as well.
Yeah, so there you go. So, you know, if you're into your anime, you're into your co-op, maybe this game is for you. However, for me, it looks painful. So I'm just going to
Yes,
take it
it
off my
does.
screen. And then we move on to the last topic, which we've already talked about a little bit, but maybe we can go into more in-depth now, is the PC thing. So I'm just going to read out what they said on the blog. So they said, also, we're pleased to share that we are currently testing the ability for PSVR2 players to access additional games on PC to offer even more game variety in addition to the PSVR2 titles available through PS5. We hope to make the support available in 2024, so stay tuned for more updates. So looking at the wording of it, they say, we're currently testing the ability for PSVR2 players. So if you're currently a PSVR2 player like us, this should have applied to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't have a
Sure.
PC? It's like some people are like, is this a way for PC games to come to PS5 without a PC? And you
No,
can stream them in or
that's
some
so
shit.
hard. That's so far
Well,
fetched. The simplest thing is plug in, get an adapter, and then there's some software like the PS Remote Play that we can
but there
fucking access
is
with the PC.
there is a web browser on the PlayStation 5. Like it does have access to
It does.
the internet.
Yeah.
So like maybe they're just trying to set up like a connection, like to actually have access to all these games through the PlayStation 5. It could
But
be
then how does it,
actually
like,
that
let's
fun.
say I've got the trailer playing for Half-Life Alyx here. Like, how do you get Half-Life Alyx running? Like, is it being streamed if you do it that way?
But how are you gonna stream? They don't even
Well,
have servers. It's just
Yeah,
it's
who's
just
paying
doesn't
for all
seem
this? Like, you know, it's,
realistic. Yeah.
I
unless
think,
they're doing some kind of crazy deal to have like Steam, like the Steam.
I'm sure they would have mentioned Valve then. It's
store.
like, oh, we're partnering with Valve
Yeah.
to make so and so happen. They wouldn't just say
I
we're
don't know
Tesla's.
then.
I don't
That's the
understand
only way
this.
that
I don't like
yeah,
what I initially read it as is you'll be able to plug your PSVR2 into your PC if you have one. And
Yeah.
if you're someone like me, then it's not for you. Get fucked.
Yeah, you guys are fucked. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's PC. If you have a PC, all these people that play on the Quest 3 and the Quest 2, they're gonna say, "Oh shit, just so happens I also have a PSVR 2. I'm gonna use that shit instead of my Quest." Or
Yeah.
people that don't have a PSVR 2 or PS5, they like to play PC VR games. They're like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna buy this instead of the Quest 3 because fucking PSVR 2, especially if it's supported with the feedback and all that." This is what a lot of people don't understand at least this is my opinion. They don't think the whole gimmick of the feedback it's that big of a deal, but if you have a PC, play Pavlov. That's for me the biggest example. Play Pavlov on the PC first, play for a while, and then jump on the PSVR 2 and the feedback and all that. For me, it's just a totally different game. So I think that will be for me what I think they are gonna do instead of
that's
even worrying about the PS5 or anything.
any shooters is where you really notice the haptic feedbacks, like just consistently, because like
Yeah.
you get so used to like feeling the gun
The triggers.
like vibrate. Yeah, the triggers and when you shoot the gun, like the feedback. But like if I was
It's
to
bigger
turn that
than
off,
I thought.
if I was to go play Pavlov right now, turn the haptics off, it would just feel so weird. It would,
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference in my opinion.
But the-
More than I thought at the beginning.
So while this probably won't benefit me, I do like the fact that it's somewhat of a problem for Meta. They have to look now and they're like, hey, hold on a sec. People are talking about buying PSVR 2s instead of Quest 3s for their PCs now because it has the eye tracking, it has HDR, it has OLED, it has all this stuff that the Quest doesn't have. And it's
I don't think
the
they
most affordable one that has these things. Like if you want eye tracking in a headset on PC right now, you're spending what? Like whatever the fucking index is or whatever else has eye tracking.
But for the most part, people don't care about that shit. I think people care about.
They don't
like
care
you
about
said,
because it's
like-
not widely available. Once these headsets start popping up and they're at this price, then maybe developers are like, hey, hold on, we should take advantage of this eye tracking shit, and then they start making
hope
more
they
advanced
do.
games, and then maybe
oh
it takes
yeah,
off.
that's the hope. Does the Meta Pro have eye tracking? I can't remember.
I think so.
It
I think
does,
so.
something
But
like that.
I've heard
But
that shit is
that's
kind of
like-
trash for the price.
That's like $1,500, though,
That's
right?
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like I've heard like so many different ways you can read into this. Some people are like, oh, this proves Sony's given up on making PSVR 2 games, so they're kind of like, I think Muzz said it earlier on that, it's like, go to PC if you want games. Other people are like, it's a good way for them to get extra revenue in, move some more headsets, maybe see more developers, PC developers start looking at the PSVR 2 where they wouldn't before because now it's on their platform. They're like, hey, it's a cool headset, let's bring it to PS5 as well or whatever. But I don't know how to see this. I don't really know how to see this. Like, I don't really care too much because it doesn't affect me.
Right.
But I also don't think it's
Start
like,
saving.
I don't think they sell millions either doing this.
Nah. No. It's
It'll
just to
help
make
with the
extra
sales.
money here and there. Yeah.
I guarantee it would help with sales. Like if people realize that they can buy it, depending on how it actually functions. Like if you can actually play like all the games that are available on PC or not. Because
You should be able to, yeah.
if you can, then that will definitely help sales. Because if someone has a PlayStation 5, like why wouldn't you spend $550 on a really nice headset and know that you have the library on Steam and like all the VR headsets or VR games there, as well as the ones that Sony are making. You have like the best of both worlds.
Are you saying this is a scenario where you don't need a PC?
No, where you do need a PC, But
Okay.
like there are a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that have a PlayStation 5 and a decent PC, but they don't want to. I don't know. It's just like which one are you going to go for? Like if you can get the PlayStation VR2 and have the exclusives that are just on that, like Gran Turismo and others, but then you don't miss out on like Half-Life Alyx and you can play all those games on your PC, then why wouldn't you get a PlayStation VR2 then?
I just think
Because
that
that just opened up your library that you could have access to like immensely, and you're not restricted to just be on the console.
I get it from that perspective of somebody who owns a PS5 and a PC, that it makes it more appealing. But I just don't like. I don't think there's like a huge amount of people out there who have a VR capable PC and a PS5. You know, obviously I don't know. I just don't. This is my own personal thoughts.
I think this is gonna be more appealing. The people that are gonna buy more the headset just because of using it. I think it's gonna be people that have a PC already, regardless of the PS5. They have a PC and they use a Quest 2, most likely, even Quest 3, but Quest 2 for the most part, and they want to upgrade. And they're like, hey, do I get a Quest 3 for what, $500 or whatever the fuck it is, or do I spend $50 more and I get the PlayStation VR 2 with better feedback, all that stuff? So I think that's gonna be the majority of the buyers of the headset on the PC VR version.
I think so too.
I think that's what's gonna be appealing.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me. Unless they do some weird thing where you need a PS5 somehow. But like if the PS5 is not necessary, then what Jackpot said is probably going to be the truth.
Well, hopefully we're not waiting a year to find out like how this is going to work.
I hope not.
They'll probably just drop it randomly one day in August. It's like, oh yeah, it's out now.
The blog post buried in there.
Oh yeah, by the way, plug your headsets into the computer now. You can do that.
But
go ahead and do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to feel about it because I don't know if it benefits me as a PSVR 2 owner.
As long as it sells more headsets, then it benefits you, because selling more headsets benefits Sony, which in overall would get them.
Yeah, but I don't think
the only thing is when if they sell a headset on PC, right? They get whatever money they make on the headset, but then they get nothing from software because let's say.
But it's better than not selling any headsets.
Well, that's true. Right. But like,
I don't think it's going to be enough to move the needle, though.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think they sell more than maybe 1 million on PC total, because I don't know even if they sold 1 million on PS5 total. You know.
I don't think they're making. I don't think they're gonna move the needle into. Now people are gonna be like, oh, there's more headsets. Let's just make more games for VR.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to milk as much money as they can. It's like, why would they not do what they're doing right now? We think they're doing right now and try to get more headsets sold, like Muzz says, instead of nothing. Of course, they will like to get headsets and software, but if they can get at least a couple 100,000 or whatever sold, like that's still a good chunk of money that they would probably not move. Because the fucking VR games are so lacking, at least on the VR2, you know?
The only thing is, because I've heard some rumors, is that they might be bringing their own storefront to PC, and then all of a sudden, maybe they can be bringing Horizon, Call of the Mountain, and Gran Turismo 7 over to PC, and then they can start making money on PC through software as well.
That'll be awesome.
So, but who knows when that happens, if it does happen. But I can see PC players hating that. They'll be like, no, I don't want another fucking web or a launcher or whatever they call it. What do you call it, Steam?
Bad.
I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, it's like everybody's like, sometimes they do exclusivities, like only Epic Games or whatever.
So the amount of people who win, and they're at free games. They give away a free game. All you do is make an account, and people are like, no, I wish it was on Steam. Just type in your fucking email. Just type in your email fucking account. That's all you got to do.
But in order to play exclusives, and I'm not trying to shit on some of the PC, whatever, but the Sony exclusives, right? I think people will be like, all right, I wouldn't mind to fucking download this other fucking, launcher thing if I can play these games that I'm only able to play in there. Because I don't think when they release games, like they released this game, what was it? The fucking Prince of Persia or whatever the fuck it was, this newer one. And I don't think you can play it on Steam at the beginning. Maybe you could. But there hasn't been any bangers that I think people are like, oh, fuck, for the most part, we have to jump into this other one. So I don't think it'll be that big of a deal, because if they release the Sony, like Gran Turismo, people are really into there. And I guess some people say it's not that simulation, but Gran Turismo, I think it'll be fucking really popular.
That'll be popular on PC, 100%. What are you talking about, Prince of Persia? Like a VR game?
There was no flag games. I'm talking about flag games, and
okay.
There was some games that you couldn't play on the Steam. You had to download the
I get like the Ubisoft fucking thing or whatever. Okay.
Right, the Ubisoft fucking launcher, what the fuck, or like the EA launcher for some of the fucking FIFA games or whatever. It's a pain there.
Yeah. Okay. We're on the same page. But yeah, I don't know how to feel about this PC thing until we get more information. You know, there's too many questions.
Yeah.
Now. The way they worded this is like too open to interpretation. And even though they see the confusion, nobody at Sony feels like coming out and clarifying, you know, which is... This is just typical now. We shouldn't even be disappointed at this stage. Just expect it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Expect the worst.
Yeah. Fozzie Bear says, forget you ever saw it. Sony will never fulfill PC crossover. That could be a reality as well. I'd be like, you know what? We were testing this. The test failed.
Never
The
mind.
test
Never
failed. Goodbye.
Just forget that. Just forget that.
Important says, and people will be buying this as their PC VR headset for years to come. You can't get this quality at this price anywhere else, not even close. But my thing is, like, you're probably right. But how many people are buying any headset on PC? Like, I still don't think... I don't think PC VR is very healthy in general. I think Quest is the only one you can think of as successful right now. You know?
Yeah, but you'd be surprised at how many people... Because I remember back in the day when I switched to the PSVR 1 from fucking Xbox, to get into PC VR, it was fucking way more expensive than right now. And it's still expensive, but you can get I mean, obviously it's not gonna run, but for me, at least for me, if you put medium graphics, extra high fucking graphics on VR, it's not that huge of a deal. So you can get for $800, in my opinion, right now, $900, you can get a PC that is a nice PC that will run most VR games pretty good, right? Medium sensitive, but it's enough to play. Back in the day, it was a lot of money. So I feel like right now, it's not only Quest people, but it's easier to jump in. And people are like, oh, back in the day, I need fucking $3,000. Now people are like, oh, I just need, which is still a lot of money, 800, 900, and then just the Quest or stuff like that. So I think it will help the PSVR 2 as well, because some people that say they don't have a like you, right? You don't have a PC like that is actually able to run the games, and now you don't have to worry about buying a Quest. Quest is still $250, $300, $400 for the new one, whatever. So now you getting into the PC VR world for less money, you know. So I think to a point, it does help some people here and there in that sense.
It definitely makes PC more attractive. Like if it turns out I can just plug it straight into a PC, then all of a sudden PC, like getting a gaming PC for me becomes more appealing. If you're telling me I can just jump right into Blade and Sorcery or whatever, and the controllers work and everything just works, and I don't have to worry about anything. Mr. Tortoise says PC software will then cater to the PSVR 2 capabilities, which then can move the PS5. Yes, that's one benefit. Whereas the developers are like, oh, this software or the hardware features of the PSVR 2 are cool. Let's stick it in our games, and then we port them to the PS5, and then they automatically have the same features because why wouldn't they?
Yep.
Right.
Donnie says, is Sony really just out for the money? I hope the fuck not. I mean, every business is out for the money, Donnie. 100%. The problem is, are they willing to risk, and no matter how cowardly we might think they are when it comes to VR, like, they've done a lot more than Microsoft and Nintendo have for VR.
Yeah.
So,
we got a lot of great games.
We shit on them a lot, but they've still done way more for VR than most companies.
I mean, it's the only console, pretty much. I mean, Nintendo fucking...
You want to call
it VR,
thing, but I don't know,
that shit doesn't fucking count.
Yeah. Mojo's here. How you doing, Mojo? He dropped a 17-3 in Breachers today. Congratulations.
Nice, Mojo.
On the new map, Mark says, what does the podcast think about PS5 Pro and how much it will affect VR 2? I think it probably will happen. I don't think it'll... I can think it'll probably boost PSVR 2 games in the way, like, they'll be running natively 120 and maybe not worrying about reprojection so much. But I don't think it, like, boosts sales or whatever for PS4 or PSVR 2s.
Right. And I don't think it'll be enough money. Like, I don't think it'll be worth it. Like, say, if you have a PS5 and you just are buying a PS5 Pro or where the fuck it's called just for the VR enhancements, I don't think it's going to be worth it because I don't see the enhancements being that big. Besides just running a little bit smoother, which I mean,
unless
if really care about that.
Yeah, if like the 120 thing is really important to you, then I can see you getting it just for that. But like, I'm sure where like the flat games are really going to be taken off there, like Grand Theft Auto 6. There's talk of them bundling that in with PS5 Pro at launch or whatever, so that would sell like hotcakes. Plus, Xbox have already said they're not going to do like an Xbox Pro, their version of it. So Sony would have it all to themselves, basically, like the enhanced console this year. But yeah, I don't think it does too much for PSVR 2, except for, like we already said, frame rates and maybe some other minor things.
Definitely come down to like what the price of that would be. Would it be like another $100 added to the PS5? Like
the price for Pro?
How would they? Yeah, how would they price the Pro? Like an extra 50, extra 100, like
probably an extra 100. Yeah,
150.
Well, obviously, it depends on the specs. Like,
yeah, exactly. But the PlayStation 4 Pro, wasn't that $100 more?
Did it drop the price of the normal one and then bring that out at the price that the normal one used to be at? I have that in my head, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. But I gotta say though,
I should know this. I sold them, but I can't remember.
I bought both of them. I don't know.
It sounds silly about the frame rates or how fast or whatever, but playing on the PlayStation 5 and then jumping in the exact same game like Battlefield and then jumping on the PC, not graphically, but just the smoothness, some games really does make a huge difference. So I don't know if for the VR maybe unless it's like a shooter or something, but and the PC at least it does make a huge difference. So it depends on, like Muzz says, the price of the PS5 Pro, but it might be worth getting it because, like I said at the beginning, I was like, yeah, whatever. It's a little bit faster, smoother graphics, or smoother frame rate. But once I got the PC, and I was like, okay, fuck yes, dude. If you have high frame rates, some of the games, it just, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels, it looks nicer.
I suppose the benefits of the better frame rate will be the lack of reprojection. Like that's the big issue of with PSVR as it is now.
If it can get rid of reprojection, if it can give me a bigger hard drive, then if I can get good trade back for my PlayStation 5 to get the Pro to cut down the cost quite a bit, then I might consider.
Yeah, that'd be tempting. Yeah, if you can trade it in. I'm pro not buying a PS Pro. This is important. Yeah, it's not appealing to me right now. Unless like they really surprise me and, they do things that I'm not expecting at all. LSP says, I think players are starting to see just how difficult it is to make a good VR game. Important says, could you imagine if the PS Pro was bundled with hybrid GTA 6? Jesus Christ. Don't. Why? We shouldn't even torture ourselves like this.
Because you believe it.
Yeah, but it gets in your head. You got to think about it. And it's like this is what could be. There's an alternate reality out there where we're playing GTA.
There's no alternate reality that GTA 6 will run on the fucking PS5. You see the graphics on that shit?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't.
Have you seen Red Dead Redemption? That was on a PS4.
Yeah, but on VR.
On a PS4. On VR. Yeah, it's a different story. It's a different
VR2, PSVR2.
Well, listen, obviously, it's obviously not going to look that good on a PSVR.
Listen, just give us Red Dead Redemption 2. Just bundle that shit together.
I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with that. I would never get out of that game. I would never get out of that game.
Have the multiplayer as well in there.
Of course. Of course. Mark says great responses. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate the questions. Feel free to join the Discord as well, by the way. We got the fax machine, which will be coming up next, where people can put in their comments every week and we'll read them out. Which I guess we'll just do now. It's in the description. The link is in the description. But yeah, you ready to go to the fax machine? Or is there anything else you want to say about PC?
No, fax me harder.
All right.
It's that time again for questions and topics submitted by our viewers. So let's go to our fax machine and see what we have. Fax me harder, Daddy. I've been a bad boy.
All right. We have got we got Brave Sir Robin and we got LSB, but they've got multiples. So first question is from Brave Sir Robin. Okay. He says, would you rather be the dumbest or smartest person alive? In both cases, your intelligence remains as it is now.
What?
He's too stoned. He's too stoned to comprehend this riddle. Why are you riddling us?
No, basically, you stay exactly how you are.
Yes.
And everyone else in the world is just way dumber than you, or everyone else is way smarter than you.
Would you? It's like he's asking, would you rather that everyone's way smarter or everyone's way dumber than as you are now?
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody's smarter, probably.
I think so too.
I would say yes, because I don't want to be in charge of running this world. Yeah. So I would like other people to do all the hard, important jobs. Thank you.
100%. Because as well, like,
I'll just chill in my house while everybody
Yeah.
else, the smart people work and feed me.
do you ever hear like
Yeah.
how people say, "Oh, you go back in time to medieval times," and how you blow everyone's mind with your knowledge and stuff? And I always think to myself, well, I don't know where electricity really comes from. I don't understand how that works. So, if I'm the smartest person left in the world, then the world becomes the last of us very fast. You know,
You would just probably get like killed or murdered in like an hour if you go back in time.
First of all, they won't even understand you. They're like, what's this witch saying?
Yeah.
What's he wearing? Burn him at the stake. Dumbest all days is important. There you go. We all want to be the dumbest. What a time to be alive. And there'd probably be some women out there with a fetish for dumb men, and you'd be like, oh, I'm the dumbest in the world. And she'd be like, oh yeah, baby. Putting equations on the board while you're doing all kinds of stuff. Anyway, importance is I always thought Down syndrome. Oh man, I'm not going to wear that. I'm not going to read that, sorry. DJ Dirty Yellow says, buying a PS5 Pro for a second PSVR2 setup. Damn. Well, some people have it good. DJ Yella. Some people have it good. All right, next question. LSB says, do they have weed in Ireland? If so, have you ever smoked some PP? Yes to both questions. You have to know your enemy. You have to know your enemy. All right.
How dare you?
How dare I what?
After all these years.
I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't try it out myself. See, it's the fact that I know, it's the fact that I tried it out that I'm able to tell you about the evils of marijuana.
Well, God knows what they give you, because over there, I don't think nothing grows over there. Do you guys?
Oh my God, we're literally. Do you know how everything's fucking green over here? What are you talking about? You live in a desert.
They actually just gave him some.
Yeah, they don't grow it in here.
They actually just gave him some oregano or rolled it up in his.
Some dude in high school is like oregano's like, hey kids, you want some
Stop
weed?
saying that. It's oregano.
It's like, okay.
All right, say it properly.
It's oregano.
Oregano.
Oregano. What are you, Italian?
I'm talking about the fucking herb, all right?
That's too close to origami. Origami is where you do the paper stuff.
Things rhyme sometimes, all right? That's just the world we live in.
Not if you say it right. Those shouldn't rhyme.
Next question is from Brave Sir Robin again. He says, would you rather have to address every girl with milady or passionately kiss each of your co-hosts for 20 seconds each?
What do you mean? The kissing. I mean, what do you mean? These are so random.
You have to
looks like
every girl.
Every girl.
Every time.
I don't know. My lady.
Every time. Every time you see any female. Like, hello, milady.
It's just like going back in fucking medieval times.
Milady.
That's it.
You'd be.
I don't know. I'll be a trendsetter. I'll bring it back.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
I'm not kissing these guys.
I'll be known. I'll be known. I'll just get used to it. It'll just be like an ongoing joke. Everyone will just know that I'm the milady guy.
Get the tattoo, milady tattooed on your forehead as well. You know, lean into it. Become a brand. Yeah, I'm going with milady. I'm going to go with milady.
Not the worst thing.
Yeah, especially with Jackpot's mustache. Can you imagine two mustaches rubbing together? What that would feel like? I just imagine that would feel horrible.
Sandpaper.
Anyway, his next one and possibly the last one said, would you rather thoughtfully contemplate a would you rather question, weighing the pros and cons in the spirit of the question, or look for a quick loophole answer to avoid tough questions and choices? It's got to be the latter, hasn't it? Second
one.
I think he's making a bit of commentary on the way we've been addressing his would you rather questions in the past, maybe.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're not going deep into this.
Maybe you would rather to ask us a would you rather question that's airtight and not full of holes that are so easily for us to exploit. All right? How about that? But thank you very much for your questions. I do appreciate it, because without those we had nothing. And thank you, LSP, as well. You're in Ireland, everything is green. Exactly. Important says both equally gay. Donnie says I greet them with a Donnie, have some respect for some women, will you? Have some respect. Only Jackpot can get away with calling everyone bitch. You guys are going to have a threesome. I think we all agreed that we weren't going to have a threesome. I specifically said we would pick Milady over that. Anyway, that's the end of the episode.
Did you?
They said I wasn't invited, guys.
Grow a mustache. Grow a mustache first.
Yeah. I'm not in the mustache club.
Don't shave anymore.
They need to have that gentle bristling.
Yeah. Can you imagine the sound of that? You'd hear it. If it was very quiet in the room as well, you'd see like the lips smacking, and then you'd hear like the bristly sound of the hairs rubbing off.
All right.
No thanks.
Anyway, let's get out of here.
I'm getting all worked up. I'm getting all worked up here, guys. I gotta get off the line.
Yeah, we gotta go. Gotta go fast. Anyway.
Buy Helldivers 2.
Buy Helldivers 2. Buy PSVR 2. Never mind Helldivers 2.
Nah, fuck
buy
PSVR 2.
PSVR 2. Save us. Save PS.
Join the
save
Discord.
PSVR 2.
Join the Discord.
Tell your friends.
Subscribe.
Tell everybody to buy VR2.
Buy my
subscribe.
buy my autobiography. You can buy.
What the fuck is this?
Goodbye.